Happy Friday. Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. It is great to see you. Is it Friday? It's Friday. See, this is bound to happen when the kids are off school. Who am I? Where am I? What day is it? What are we doing? This kind of thing. Good to see you. Let's do this. This will make things great. Happy Friday night. Cheers, my dears. Happy cocktail night. It is great to see you brainstorm late last night. Wait till I tell you. Let me just pull out. Let me make sure I have my text. I have everything with me. Don't worry about. Yep, I got my text for tonight. Last night I was working on orders and stuff, and Doreen sent me a link to Crystal's great article. Right, this is foreshadowing. There's more coming up on this subject, and I read it and I thought, oh, so good. I have not spent enough time lately talking about other designers who work in rug making, rug hooking, rug design. Particularly shameful on my part because so many of them are my good friends. So many of them are not, but so many of them are. And the ones who are, I really love, like Crystal. And I started thinking about a bunch of my buddies who I really love and love their work. And I thought, ever since we have not been doing bingo night, and we know why, because I was afraid I was going to get in trouble. Okay, Jay just popped in. I was afraid he was going to say there's no volume, but we're good. Since we're not doing that, I realize that I'm not doing a lot of showcasing of other people's work. And I want to showcase the people who I care about the most and who I think do the most stellar and interesting work in rug making and rug making design now. So that's what this show is about. It's going to be the first one where we do, I was going to do trivia, but it's more of a getting to know you, like that kind of a, let's find out more about each other. And if you saw on Facebook, I sent out a bunch of questions that I asked you, if you want to answer them in the thread. I asked the people who I'm featuring on tonight's show so we can hear their answers as well and get to know them. Let me tell you what the questions were, just so you can be ruminating a little bit, and then I will greet you properly. So I look like Raggedy Ann. I look like a pregnant Raggedy Ann right now, don't I? It's not as bad as it looks. This is just something. It's something. I accidentally bought it from Facebook. It looked fantastic. I'm not this big. I'm really big, but I'm not this big. I bought it from Facebook, and it wasn't what I thought it was. And then I meant to return it, and I did return it, but I did something wrong, and then I screwed it up, and they wouldn't take it back. So I'm wearing it. I'm just going to keep it in real close here because I look like Raggedy Ann tonight. Let me put my other glasses on. Whew. So these are the questions that I asked the people who we are going to be featuring tonight, right? And all of the artists / companies that I'm featuring were in that Facebook thread, are mentioned in the body of this video that you're watching on the Ribbon Candy Hooking YouTube channel, on the YouTube channel, in the description, right? So you will be able to go to their websites and check them out over the weekend, go down a bunch of rabbit holes. And if you're not aware of the artists that we're about to cover, great opportunity to become aware because they're all not just wonderfully talented people, but excellent people, There is a huge difference, isn't there? These are nice, kind, hardworking, talented, smart, fun, funny, sincere people, right? Sometimes you only get a couple of those. And that's why I like to stay close to quite a few people in this industry and tout everybody's work as often as possible. So the questions that I asked in terms of like just trivia and getting to know you, and if you would like to answer any of them in the thread, you go ahead and do it because I would love to hear your answers too. Questions, and I'm just going to read them fast because we're going to hear them over and over tonight. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite book? What has been your favorite vacation to date? And what would be your dream vacation? For designers, what is your favorite holiday to design for, right? What are your other hobbies besides rug making, right, and running a rug company? What do you like to collect anything? What's your best recipe? Not everybody has it. I mean, I don't really have a best recipe, I have to say, but dye recipe maybe, but food recipe, I would always have to go with meatloaf. I'm not such a cook, I have to admit. What would you most like to learn how to do? That's an interesting one, isn't it? When I think about that, there's so many things it's impossible to choose. I'm probably not going to answer these questions myself, so I'll throw in a couple answers here. I always think about taking a class in the night sky, in gardening. There's so many things it's like, what wouldn't I like to learn? I took French from kindergarten to 12th grade, and I felt like I lost it when I learned Dutch. I'd like to do French again. I'd like to do some Italian. I'd like to learn about mushrooms and what to pick. I don't mean that in a naughty way. There's so many great things to do, isn't there? Aside from necessities, what's the one thing that you couldn't last a day without? What are you most thankful for? And lastly, what are you most looking forward to? Interesting, right? Thought-provoking questions, icebreakers. Let me change my glasses for the 4th time in 2 minutes and come and see who's here tonight. Ooh, these glasses are a little bit... No, I think I'm going to have to stay with... Hold on one second. I'm with you. I'm just walking over here. Let's see if these glasses are better. I'm telling you. If you know me in person, you know this is one of the great scourges, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. That works. All right. So, happy Friday night, Melanie. Great to see you. Good afternoon / evening, sunny and warm in Western Washington. Sounds like a dream. Becky, happy cocktail night. Great to see you, Cats Gallery. Cheers, my dears. You say it, and I got to do it. From California. Linda H. Cheers in Massachusetts. April, cheers in Illinois. Mom, happy Friday, happy cocktail night in Granby, Connecticut. So good to be with everyone. I was with my mom for 3 nights this week with the kids. It was such a lot of fun. Robin, cheers, my dears in Wisconsin. April, you've got a Malibu strawberry rum and pineapple juice. It's that kind of a night, isn't it? It's that kind of a night every night, isn't it? That is a good summer sounding drink, though, I have to say. Kirsten, happy cocktail night in Vermont. Happy cocktails. Joyce, cheers in Pennsylvania. Karen, cheers, my dears. Felix looks amazing. Amazing. Stomach cramps, amazing. I absolutely love him. Oh, it's a Pinot Grigio night there. Very civilized. I've got Sauvignon Blanc. I don't usually do wine on the show. I love Sauvignon Blanc. I love the Australian ones because they're so dry and crisp with little smoky notes, you know. I love a good smoky note. Jay put on, I'd be here in 1 minute, which I was. I was just stuffing a few more images into the show. So we are extra large. I'm going to extra large you tonight. Doreen, great to see you in rainy upstate New York. April says, awesome. I'm just reading it. Colleen, great to see you. Colleen is one of the featured artists, Beach Nut Studios. We're going to see lots of Colleen's work and hear her answers to those questions. Anita, great to see you. I saw the destruction in the Highlands. Who? 2 nights of hail. Oh, man, that is rough. Sharon, hi from Vancouver. Finally a summer day. I'm so happy. Bonnie, great to see you on Palm Coast, Florida. Good evening. Whitney, happy Friday. Great to see you. Priscilla, cheers, my dears, from Akron, Ohio. Cheers, my dears. Priscilla, are you going to be at Sauter this year? I'm looking forward to it already. I was just talking about it with Linda Ann on my way in. Our dates and all that stuff. Melissa, great to see you. Lisa, great to see you. Cheers, my dears. Don't worry, tons of time. You can always respond to me later. I'm always there. There's plenty of time. Diane, great to see you from Newfoundland and Labrador. Great to see you. Marty in Glenville, New York. Great to see you. Sitting here designing patterns. Oh, man. I can't wait to hear more about that. Susan, great to see you. You've been traveling a ton. Greetings from Baden, Ontario, Canada. And Barbara, also in Canada. Great to see you. Happy Friday night. Kim, happy Friday night in Vancouver. Lots of buddies on tonight. Deborah, great to see you. Happy Friday night. I knew you liked it. I love Sauvignon Blanc, which is, yeah, it is absolutely my go-to wine. I like sweet wines in the summer, but not in the evening. I'm a bit persnickety with wine. And it's not like I'm a great connoisseur. It's just once I find one that I really love, like this is Tohu, Tohu. Oh, I really love it. I just love it. So a couple of things that I've been really remiss about. One of them is very important. Madison Wool, right? I teach there just about every month. I didn't realize the teaching dates were not on my website, Ribbon Candy Hooking. So I just want to remind you, if you are local, I have a book signing coming up there, right? That is July 22nd. But before that, on the, where's my phone? I'll tell you later, or if anybody knows off the top of your head, if you could put it in the thread. First weekend, I think, first Sunday in July, going to teach remember this piece, the hooking with the Kate facet and doing Prati? Remember, my evening lights are here. Is my phone in the bag? Let me just check what day it is. I'll be in person teaching the hooking with quilting fabric with this bouquet that's called Square Peg. This is at Madison Wool in Madison, Connecticut, and this is coming up on July 2nd from 1 to 4. So I will be there in person teaching this. It's partly wool. It's all pre-cut. And then a bunch of the quilting fabric. It's way more warm and vibrant than it looks. If you've seen pictures of it, you know. But I'll be there doing this class, Square Peg. So be sure to sign up for that because I keep forgetting to say. Make sure that you're signed up for that. A ton of people have signed up for the mini punch class. So I've been working like a hog on these. My arm is going to be doing this in its sleep, winding these little bobbins, right, that go on the cable ring. Super fun. This is mini punch. So I hope you're signed up for that class. And the color and composition class that's coming up, and our monthly Design Like, which is Design Like Henri Rousseau. It's going to be my favorite one to date. I'm telling you, I'm already digging in all that great folk art, all that great portraiture. He was fantastic. All of those things are coming up. But tonight is not about me. It is about my friends, fellow rug makers, fellow buddies. Let's see where to begin. Where to begin? So I'm going to begin with, in no particular order, right? Because, you know, everybody who I reached out to say, this will be the first of many shows I do like this, where I want to celebrate other people who have a business. We all have small businesses, right? I was just going to say, well, I'm not going to do this one or that one, but you know who the big ones are, and I'm thinking they do really well. So I just want to, particularly if you're new to me or you're new to hooking, I have a brand, obviously it's Ribbon Candy Hooking, but there are lots of other people who are involved in rug making, emphasis on different sort of facets and aspects of the crafts plural, with punching, hooking, right? Lots of different Prati, lots of different kinds of rug making. I want to celebrate other people's work tonight, and I want to give you something to kind of dream on. Rebecca is on from Storyteller Wool. She's featured tonight, one of the featured artists. But tonight I'm going to start with Jo Moore. So, hang on while I switch slideshows. I know I forgot to tell you something else important, but we're gonna roost, right? Let's dig in. Jo Moore. So this is Jo Moore, and Jo Moore's website is called Joe the Flower Guy Rugs. Joe the Flower Guy Rugs. And he wrote in his bio on his website, Joe the Flower Guy Rugs, I often don't know why I choose to hook a certain image. I feel it more than I see it most times. It seems that my mind works in full range color mode 24/7. I may dream of an image and then create it the following day, or it'll sit in my mind and then appear on the canvas on another day. When I hook, mentally and emotionally, I feel that I am transcending somewhere else while looking down at the canvas. I know that feeling, that crazy feeling of floating and being separate from what your hands are doing. Parts of me and what I love about a certain rug piece gets hooked into place. I'm always quietly surprised when the final loop is pulled. And he has such a beautiful website with a lot of text, very sort of romantic, very lyrical, poetic. Joe the Flower Guy is just a regular farm guy who likes to hook. I was nicknamed this because of my building and gifting floral displays to others. My life with fiber began, I believe, when I would sit as a child on the bottom of my mother's old treadle sewing machine when she sewed or patched something. I was taught to knit in my teens, and I've continued to do so periodically over the last 4 decades. A few years ago, I crossed over into rug hooking with guidance from my then employer and still good friend, Dion Fitzpatrick, of Dion Fitzpatrick Studios. I was already in a swell workplace filled with color, plus textures galore, so I dove in and became lost in my canvases. This married well with my home environment in a rural farm area near Northumberland Strait of Nova Scotia, where I and my husband managed large floral and vegetable gardens, orchards, and a greenhouse. Does that sound like a dream? Oh man, does that sound... My ongoing love of dogs transcends into being outdoors with them. And my logo, I'm going to show you this image, an original rug called Loopy is a composite of the many dogs I've had since being here on the farm. My favorite hooking, now this is technical info, my favorite hooking frame is a Chetty Camp frame from Dion Fitzpatrick Studios, and my best hook is an heirloom one that was handed down from my spouse's grandmother, just the way it should be. Isn't that beautiful? Joe has such a beautiful website. Let's look at some of his images. Really, really, really lovely. I went down the rabbit hole big time, big time. So this image, and I'm going to read you his answers in just a minute. This image is called, and I might mispronounce this, Blueberry. I think I got that one. Inukshuk. The blueberry fields dot our hill and mountainsides in Cumberland and Colchester counties of Nova Scotia. They sit perched on the mountainsides and down in the meadows and turning an amazing set of shades under the autumn sun. This pattern comes with some indicators of various items on the pattern. So I'm going to show you the other, let me keep this open and show on his site, he's got many images that he also has the line drawing of, which I think is super helpful and thoughtful, where he's giving color cues. I thought some of the text was interesting too, because, you know, English, still English, right? But going Canadian English to American English, some of the words are different. So he says patterns are created with a 3.5 to 4 inch gutter around the item and serged. I thought that was super charming. I always say border, and gutter is way better. It also reminds me of bowling, right? You can't go wrong with that connotation. That's always fun. So again, I might be pronouncing this wrong, but this pattern is called Blueberry Inukshuk, something like that. I'm sorry. I don't have those uniquely Canadian words, and I should, right? Shame on me and this American education. This is another lovely image. This is called linden lupins. In this part of eastern Canada, lupins grow wild through the local fields. Certain areas are awash in these spiky perennials with a wave of deep blue, mauve, pinks, and whites. Although you can tell he's a flower guy, right? Because that was so descriptive. Although it's interesting to note that they are not found in hayfields, as the plant is toxic to cattle and grows best in lower quality soil. So they abound in ditches and fields, but not used for livestock. Isn't that interesting? Gail, good morning, my love. Good to see you. April, good to see you. Happy cocktail night. And this is, I'm sorry, I meant to do this. Let me take a sip while we're looking. I love seeing his drawings too. He is a proper artist, as you can see. I love his inspiration, a lot of flowers, and his immediate surroundings. It's just so fun to see what people design. That's really what tonight is about, because I tend to be all over the place, and that, if I think you've probably noticed, is my personality. But other people seem to be a bit more on the rails, not boring, not pigeonholed, not narrow, but I tend to be incapable of saying, I'm going to design, this with this in mind, or this kind of a theme for a while. I can't stick with it. This must be ADHD, right? You know me now. You know me. It's got, what else could it be? But at the end of the day, I love it, and I've always been this way, and I work very well with the way that I am. But I can see that other people really dig in with things that they really are passionate about, like environment, in Joe's case, flowers, gardens, orchards. His immediate surroundings inspire him a lot. Working more like a writer or a poet or a musician, where I'm kind of more of a rabid collector, just grabbing at images and seasons and moments. I love to see other people working in a more sort of cohesive theme. This is another beautiful piece called, gosh, did I not put this one in? I did put it in. I just didn't, Joe, if you're on, if you could let us know. You know what? I don't think that I did write the name for all of them. I am so, did I? Hang on. Yeah, I did. I'm better than I thought. This is called Porch Petunias. Another beauty. Such color. And this one is called Fresh Flush. Beautiful patterns, right? We often talk about something that is a composition, right? Like porch petunias is more of a composition. You see the boards of the porch. Wendy, good to see you. Hello in Pennsylvania. And you can see kind of the edges of 2 baskets of flowers, and it is a composition. You can see the railing in the back. But with something like Fresh Flush, it is more of a pattern, right? It could repeat, or it doesn't have to, but it's more of a pattern. And there's a huge difference. And Joe does both so well. This lovely design is called Two at Rest. I just love this. You gotta love the Adirondack chairs, right? You've got to love them. They speak of summer, and sitting outside for a long time. Just the shape of an Adirondack chair implies that you're probably going to be sitting there for a while, right? Because you're not sitting in a fold-out chair, you're not sitting on, on your ankles on a blanket. It implies that you're going to be there for a while, growing some roots in the ground. And it's just such beautiful, it evokes such beautiful, relaxing feelings. Look at the way that Joe has hooked the flagstone, right? The yarn hooking the gray stones themselves. Dave, happy cocktail night, chocolate cake and hard seltzer. Sounds like heaven. And April says, I'm just finishing my design-like pattern. Oh, no problem, April. You're good. I'm still writing the book. Good Lord. No rush at all. No tailspins. You're good. I love the way he hooked wool strips between the flagstones. And then look at that coloring coming down from the setting sun. See how the ground goes from green, it picks up the orange and makes kind of, sorry, there's a booze truck making a delivery out back, and he's just making all kinds of noise. Beautiful, beautiful centering in this, right? There are quite a few things that are symmetrical and other things that are off. The sun is cementing this composition really firmly in place. It's such a beautiful, warm, inviting summer sun, right? And seeing the light come down through the green grass and make that stripy right between where the two chairs are perched. You're anticipating two friends coming and sitting and talking, and they would both be a little bit in the light. It's just a beautiful moment. The waves crashing onto the shore, little bits of pink and orange in the sky, otherwise a beautiful sky. Looks like it was a beautiful day. Ledges of color in this composition, right? The story of the two chairs, and more specifically, the story is the two empty chairs, because did two people just leave, or are two people just arriving? Right? Just beautiful storytelling possibilities here as you let your mind wander, right? But the flagstone, the grass, the sand, the water, the sky, 5 layers or shelves of interest makes for a fabulous composition. Oh, this is a great one he did for obviously a baby. He's got a lot of diversity on his website. Lots of stuff for grown-ups, for kids, lots of fun kind of pop culture stuff, lots of serious artsy stuff. Like, it's a great mix. This was a great pattern for anyone who's having a babe. And there's 2 versions of this hooked online for him. This is another beauty, Dragonfly. Right, so beautiful, so summery, such an emphasis. Joe Moore put such an emphasis, and again, wait, I don't want to say it wrong. JoeTheFlowerGuyRugs.com. Such an emphasis on nature, and such colorful nature, right? Such color. Not drab, I was going to say not drab realism. Don't take that offensive as an offense. If you love realism, I don't. I love color, and more color. So I love to see things done in this style where there are such unexpected colors. This is called Gardener's Star. I absolutely love this piece. It almost looks like metal foil or tin foil in the background. It's really optical, very architectural star, great rainbow effect. What a beautiful, colorful pattern. God, I love this pattern. This is called Goose River, right? One of, again, serious, right? Very different, very different. He wrote here, Goose River is part of Cumberland County. Goose River is known as Linden, is now known as Linden. This pattern is based upon the photography of local pugwash photographer Fred Horton with his permission. Absolutely beautiful. Again, levels of color, levels of interest, grass, water, on the edge like bookends, right? It's an inlet coming in, so you're seeing trees closing in from both sides. Then another distant sort of glimpse of water with a small island in the middle, and then many parts to the sky. Levels, right? Really beautiful. Funky flower flyers. Love this. Another more pattern-driven composition as opposed to a vignette, a still life, a landscape. This is very pattern-driven, right? It doesn't immediately repeat, but it is kind of what quilters would call a scatter or a toss print, right? Where there's lots of different motifs, and it's almost like they were tossed on, and there they are, overlapping, making way for each other, giving us different moments of color, contrast, excitement, electricity. It's a bright, happy, really, really beautiful composition. This is the piece called Loopy that he was referring to. That's kind of a composite of all the dogs he's had since having the farm. He loves his Jack Russell dogs, right? Beautiful piece. Looks like a nice mid-century lamp there too, but beautiful interior piece. I see some white stuff on the couch. I'm wondering what that is. I'm wondering if that's a reference to the dog tearing the couch apart. That can happen. That can happen. And he's still using beautiful breakdown of color with shelves, right? But in this case, very mid-century modern composition, not just the lamp, right? But the crop of the edge of the sofa, the diagonal pull one way with the tight checkers, right? Checkerboard print, the larger checkerboard print of the couch, smart, two different scale of the same print, and then the diagonal in the background giving us three different colors, right? Sort of khaki, camel, and then like an army green, right? But that corner diagonal is the top, the northwest, whereas the blanket is on the right, right? They're opposite corners, opposite diagonals. The blanket is dropped a little bit, but you can see there are two diagonals kind of fighting with each other in the most happy way and creating a break like a theatrical curtain right where Loopy's head pops up, right? So creating a stage, creating a space for Loopy, the dog. Absolutely beautiful. This piece is called Somewhere in Wallace Bay. Another really gorgeous piece. Joe sells a lot of his finished pieces on the website too. So patterns, PDFs, finished pieces, all manner of thing. Of course, Joe is in Canada, right? So for those of you who are Canadians logging on, and I think that's about half of you, he's a great person to be looking at for patterns because shipping-wise, you won't be slaughtered, right? It'll be much more manageable. And just be aware of his work. It is so spectacular. It is so colorful, lyrical, right? It's so happy, right? It just makes me feel like busting out of the building and just running. It's very outdoorsy, but it feels very safe and charming. It's still very cozy. Absolutely beautiful. This is called Pugwash Harbor. I love this piece as well. I love the diagonals. This has a great folky feel. I love the sort of purpley, inky water right in the middle, right? And then we've got a bridge, and on the other side of the bridge, these beautiful, colorful houses, which I am coming to know as being, I think of them as being like, Cornish, right? When I think of colorful houses, I think of either Bermuda or Cornwall, like Mousehole, Penzance, that kind of thing. And now I'm starting to think, I think in Canada there's lots of colorful houses too, not so much in the US. So this is really, really such a lively, still very folky, little hint of Maud Lewis in this, not surprising, right? The landscape, right? It's Canadian, so we can't go too far from Maud Lewis, but just beautiful composition with the water, with a little bit of the shore, with that not quite level diagonal, with the story of the houses in the distance, with the very calm and peaceful sky, kind of a fairy tale sky with pinks and blues, lots of greenery, right? Lots of evergreens. Really, really lovely. This is another beautiful piece. This is one of the ones that's for sale. It's called Linden Corner. And again, making the great point that Joe is fantastic at doing compositions with shelves, levels of color. It's really hard to do. Well, for me, it's very hard to do because I'm not great at landscapes. He does it so naturally, and I just wonder, I hope that I get to speak to him in person or we can do an interview sometime. I would love to know if when he is designing, he's looking at a photograph or he's thinking from memory, or he's doing what Maud Lewis did, which she did often, doing views of Digby Bay or wherever she was shooting for. She would often remove a house, take a house, add something in the foreground, like a little body of water, like a fence, like not a fence, right? So interesting. And I'm feeling like he works the same way because it's like fence. What is going to help this composition if you didn't have the fence there? If you put your hand up and block the fence definitely helps the composition because it helps. It's a very horizontal composition because of the horizontal layers. But the plot, the gardening plot, or the planting, right, the stripy patchwork of land in the middle of the piece is very vertical, but it can really use the help of that fence in the front as another vertical friend to keep it balanced. It's really helping. When there's tension in a composition, that is a good thing. When there's tension in a room with your in-laws, not a good thing. But in a composition, always a good thing. So having the horizontal versus the vertical tension is fantastic. I feel that Joe is the absolute master at this specific composition technique. Here's another example, downstream. Right? Here's another great example. Beautiful story of ground cattails, water, ground cattails, fallen leaves, grass, distant meadow, even more distant meadow, and beautiful evening sky. right? Little house is a supporting character. Beautiful orange tree is, I think, the main character, vying with the cattails, right? Because the cattails create such patterning. The fallen leaves, even more than the leaves that are still attached to the tree, such patterning. And then the cattails, more patterning. And he's laid off, and the water has a little bit of patterning, but blue with blue, right? To be expected. He's laid off doing heavy patterning, as he often does, a lot with yarn, a lot with multi-colored yarn or printed wovens, right? Multis. He's laid off that a little bit to give us a little bit of a break because he's doing a lot of innate patterning. And it just is a gorgeous, gorgeous, very tactile looking piece. He has a few pieces that I am really anxious to do myself, right? That don't have examples of them having been hooked yet. This one is called Northumberland Moons. I absolutely love this pattern. This is one that I have got to do. There's 3 or 4 of Joe's that as soon as I saw them, I'm like, gotta do them. Really, really love them. I just think this is so smart, right? And my desk diary, which is my diary in bed, in bed I just write a little bit each night. The good thing about the desk diary is it just gives you a little, because if it was a big wide open page, it would be so daunting. I would never be able to sit down and write, because I do 2 sentences and then nod off. But with the desk diary, it just gives you a little rectangle of space to write. And the theme of mine this year is, I don't want to say witches, but it is a little bit. It's like a little bit of tarot. It's a little bit of herbs. But the reason I got it was because there was all kinds of tips and recipes. It was so cute. It was so cute. But the point is, it tells me a lot about the moons. And it marks the moons really well, right? It tells me when the next one's coming up, what it means, right? What the symbolism of what it means, what to be thinking about, what to be planting, what to be baking, cooking, eating, what kind of soup to make, right? And it's just so, it's such a cool diary to have. It's all stuff that I never knew before. Anyway, the conversation of moons reminded me of this. And when I saw this, I just thought, oh, this is just so much fun. I've got to do this. This is another one that is so unique. These are, if you're joining us late, these are Joe Moore's designs, right? And his company, his website is called joetheflowerguyrugs.com. This is so different. I've never seen this done before. I think this is brilliant. A little village. This is called Christmas Ribbon Village. It's a little village made up of houses that are all wrapped. I think this is so clever and so much fun. The whole little village. This is such a good idea. I love this idea. This idea cannot be improved upon. So I'm going to have to get this pattern and hook it. This will be one of my Christmas projects because I really love it. Judy, great to see you. I know his colors are so lovely, so rich. He has 2 scarecrows too. Let me put them side by side. I love these characters as well. These are another couple. You know how I am, a fool for fall and Halloween. Hold on, I'm just going to drag one over a little bit. Let me drag this guy over here. So this is Joe Scarecrow, and this is, I think this is Susie Scarecrow. Hold on. Come on. I have so many images in the slide. Susie Scarecrow, yeah. So I'll put them side by side. Just think it would be really fun to do this. It'd be fun to reverse one of them so that you could hang them next to each other, and they would be flipped, right? Or do one punch and do one hooking. So much fun. So much fun. So as we leave the segment on Joe, I want to read you the answers, getting to know Joe. I want to read you the answers that he gave to the questions that I asked. Let's see what he had to say. Karen said, these patterns would make great Russian punch or regular punch patterns. Absolutely, they really would. They really would. They are super wild and free, but then there's so many sort of holiday themey ones. Of course, I didn't even scratch the surface, right? When you go on his website, you'll see that there is like 25 pages of patterns. They are so beautiful. Hang on. Is that all I've gotten there? So in answer to the questions, favorite movie. Joe said his favorite movie is While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman. That's funny because I love Sandra Bullock, and it's funny because I have not watched one of her movies for so long. I like her very much. And the other night when I was at my mom's, the last night I was there, my mom said, I'm dying to watch this movie together called The Proposal with Sandra Bullock. I forget who the guy was, and I'd never seen it before. Bit of a Hallmark movie, but that's my favorite kind. So I absolutely loved it, and I had never seen it before. Absolutely loved it. So Joe's favorite is While You Were Sleeping. His favorite book is Dune. Well, that is one of the sci-fi classics of all time, isn't it? His favorite vacation, regular vacation that he has, is being on his back deck with margaritas. Cheers, Madeira's to that. And his dream vacation is going to Scotland. His favorite holiday to design for is Christmas. And he does have, I showed you Christmas Ribbon Village. He does have a lot of really beautiful Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, Kirsten, it is Ryan Reynolds. He is very, very handsome. His eyes are close together, no? He's super handsome, don't get me wrong. I would not, we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. He is super handsome, but his eyes are quite close together. I'm going to maintain that. Colleen Sandra Bullock is a winner every time. Her movies are fantastic. I just like her personality too. She's not like all, she's not like all girly, but she's not all tomboy either. She's so gorgeous. Anyway, favorite holiday, Christmas to design for. What are your other hobbies? And Joe says landscaping, gardening, knitting, and his Jack Russell dogs. Do you collect anything? And he said, I'm helpless around colorful textiles, so I have a couple closets of yarns. And what is your best recipe? He answered, shortbread cookies. That sounds great. What would you most like to learn how to do? And he said, how to fix my car. That's actually a smart one, isn't it? Can you imagine how much? I just had the car in today just for an oil change, but there's always 45 other things that they'd like to do. Aside from necessities, what's one thing that you couldn't live a day without? And he answered very sweetly, my husband. What are you most thankful for? And he wrote that I'm still kicking after being repeatedly poked, prodded, sliced, and diced over the years. Fate seems to just keep me going. I relish the air, sun, clouds, and the wind each morning with the dogs. You can really tell that from his work. And last question, what are you most looking forward to? And he answered, getting my last years of work done so I can be home, retired with my hubby, and just focused on hooking. We're looking forward to that too, Joe. We're really looking forward to that. Great answers. So much fun. So much fun. Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, another Canadian. And it's funny because in that, are they both Canadians? Is she Canadian? Because in the movie, she was going to get kicked out and sent back to Canada because her paperwork wasn't in order. And she was forcing Ryan Reynolds to marry her. He was an employee that was beneath her. And he actually is Canadian. I wondered, is she Canadian as well? Linda, beautiful sentiments. Beautiful sentiments. So Joe Moore, check him out for sure. JoeTheFlowerGuyRugs.com. So I am moving on to my very good friend Rebecca. We are going to be seeing Rebecca. There you are. This is your professional shot. She's probably killing me right now. While she is gorgeous. I mean, she is like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in person. She's even more gorgeous. It's like hard to look at her. This was us last summer in the car taking off for some adventures. She is this okay, Rebecca? I should have asked you. She's the kind of person, she just wakes up, takes a shower, goes out with her hair wet, and looks gorgeous. And it's like, whew, how do you do that? And then we were out shopping, doing some antiquing and stuff. And she is on her way to visit this summer too. So when Rebecca comes this summer, coming to that in just a minute, when Rebecca comes this summer, we're gonna do a show together, right? We're at least gonna sit down and do like an interview together because we're together for like 3 days. She's gonna be with me at the book signing when I do the book signing in Madison, so you get to meet her there. Storyteller Wool is Rebecca's brand. Remember, Storyteller Wool, right? And it's in the thread here too. She wrote, I've aged a bit since, no, you have not. You actually look younger than you do in that picture. You really do. When you're just natural and right out of the shower, I sound weird, but you're beyond pretty. You are beyond pretty. So let's start with Rebecca's answers to those questions, and then let's look at some of her beautiful work. And Rebecca, because I put these into the slideshow last, maybe you can walk us through what some of them are in the thread. That would be super great. So your favorite movie, and this is such an oddball, is Up 2. Now that's like that kids movie with the balloon. Am I thinking? I think I saw Up once, like over their shoulders, half asleep. But I'm guessing that Up 2, since you chose that, is a phenomenal movie. I have to get to know that movie. I'm going to go home and ask the kids if they've seen Up 2. Favorite book: The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charles Mackesy. Oh, I don't know that either. That's another one. Up, Jus, Up, J-U-S, Up 2, Up, Jus, Up 2. I bet you're doing voice control. Up, okay. There's only one. I thought there was two. I saw part of it. It was fantastic. It is a really uplifting movie too. I know they show that in the school a lot too because it's really good for the kids to see it. I need to rewatch it. I trust your opinion 1000%. Your favorite vacation was a transatlantic cruise. Being on the water, out of sight of land for days was really neat. The most unplugged and relaxed you've ever felt. And your dream vacation is a week in a rose-covered cottage by the water or lake or an ocean with a stack of books, craft projects, and all of your meals made by someone else. That does sound like absolute heaven, doesn't it? Oh, Marty knows that book. That book is beautiful. A must. Okay, I need to get that book. I need to get that book. Your favorite holiday to design for. You said, I don't really have a favorite holiday to design for, but if spring could be considered a holiday, then it's spring. I can see that about your work. Your other hobbies are spinning, reading, finding unique ice cream shops, which we did when you came here. We'll do that again. Puttering around the house. You do so much. You make it sound like you're relaxing. You are so busy. And some of your collections, you're a great collector too. Milk glass, Van Briggle pottery. Karen, I think you collect Van Briggle too. I only have one piece, so I can't say I have a collection, but I love it. I think maybe two pieces. Love it. Wooden toys, small French pillowcases. It says C number 10. Yep, that's foreshadowing right there too. Your best recipe is the London broil. You are super, like, I don't want to say housemaker because that sounds patronizing. Everything within the domestics or the distaff side is you. You have mastered like all, not even household stuff, creative stuff. You are just you're doing it all. You're doing everything. I let the ball drop on so many facets of the house. You are in control of everything. You are so on your game. It's unreal and really admirable. You would most like to learn, realistically, watercolor painting. If someone had a magic wand to learn, so you would also like to learn to sing if they had a magic wand that you could sing on key. You always say that you're such a bad singer. I've never heard you sing, but I bet that you're not as bad as you think, right? Maybe it would be good news. Maybe you're like tone deaf and you're actually a great singer and you don't know it. Maybe we can do some karaoke when you come visit. That would be serious. That would seriously be so fun. I would love that. Number 10, what can't you live without? And this is the answer that refers to the French pillow. Bob, which is a small pillow that I have slept with since childhood. I am sure I could live a day without it, but I don't want to. I saw Bob also. It is great to have something that is near you at night, right? Keeps you calm. I have to say, when we were together last year and you had Bob, and because I dropped you off and you checked into your room and everything, and I got to get a glimpse of Bob, it reminded me about the whole thing of like when I was a tour guide in a different hotel every night. It was hard. I didn't have sleeping problems then. I was a bit more chilled out then, but I used to get those little sachets that were like balsam scented, like the forest, and real specific smell. And I used to have a stock of them, right? Because I was so afraid that I wouldn't be able to sleep. And it was a self-fulfilling prophecy because years later I was on sleeping pills for like 10, 15 years and finally not on sleeping pills as of the last month. First time in years I've been off sleeping pills. Not really bad ones, just I can't do without it, right? But it's really in my head. And having a little pillow like that, and you reminded me last year, like a little sachet that's next to your face every night, when you go to sleep, good associations, right? Good thoughts when you fall asleep. It really helps a lot. It helps a lot. I can see why you would not want to be without Bob. Thing you're most grateful for besides your family, which is a given, is your dogs. I know you love your pups. I've become a hardcore devoted dog lover in midlife. They filled a hole in my heart I didn't know I had. And last question, what are you most looking forward to? This is a great answer. In the future, sailing in Maine. In the distant future, being a grandmother. So, Rebecca, make sure that you give a bit of a plug here for yourself because you are it's sold out, isn't it, the Maine boat? Rebecca is teaching on a boat in August. Can you give the details of that? Because I don't have it in the top of my head. But you're teaching on that Maine boat trip. And I think the piece that you're teaching, is it in the, we'll see. You tell me in the slideshow here. but that would be something to look forward to, because when we work the way that we do, like Rebecca has Storyteller Wool, I've got Ribbon Candy Hooking, we've all got our businesses. In a certain regard, we work like actors, right? Where you try to get work, and then you fill orders or whatever, and then you try to get more work, you try to get teaching jobs. And you need to sustain yourself, and you need to keep the business going. And it is always great and feels great to be getting more and more kind of gigs. And Rebecca has been getting tons of gigs lately. Well deserved, because you are such a master. Let's see what a master she is. So Rebecca, if you can give any kind of commentary for these, I could use little footnotes. And I love this piece. Let me make it a little bit smaller. I think we're still in the background there. I put these in a little bit of a hurry. Let's see. I'm going to make it even smaller. And I'm going to read what you wrote. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Let me just scroll down, although I love the memory of us at the antique store finding treasures. Let me get that out of there. That's better. So Rebecca said 207 Creatives, they put together an annual rug hooking sailing on a 1920s schooner. It is sold out this year. So that is how popular Rebecca is, right? Having a teaching gig like that is sold out is super exciting. This is a beautiful quilly piece with some straight proddy around the edges. This is just talk about a gorgeous piece for spring, right? This egg set into this egg cup, all of this. Now, Rebecca, is it fair to say, is this around like a styrofoam egg? What is the base to this egg? Because this is just a gorgeous project. I do love eggs, and I love it when eggs are fabric. Of course, I love the Ukrainian eggs and all of that stuff. Quilly egg using up scraps. Well, that is brilliant. We talk about quilly a lot, but I have to say I have not seen a quilly project I like as much as this quilly project. A paper egg, so like a paper mache egg. That is smart. That is smart. And I bet can I ask, if these are secrets because you're doing a class, do not tell me, and I will stop. Are you gluing them on? You must be gluing them on, right? What else could you possibly be doing? And that would be, they're so like flush and equal and level, and they just hug the shape of that egg so beautifully. This is just an absolutely gorgeous piece. And Karen's asking, do you teach a class doing this technique? Yes, glue. Excellent. Absolutely love it. I have to say, Rebecca, more than anybody that I know, does so many techniques, and you're doing your permagown training, so I'm not surprised. But I would say even underneath that umbrella, I would still say you do more showcasing techniques, doing pieces that are like function as sampler pieces, because so many techniques. I've seen you do some of everything more than anybody I know. Now, Rebecca, is this the piece that's for the main sailing the schooner? Or is this I feel like you were working on this when you were planning that, but I might be wrong. I love this piece. I think we've seen this before, because I remember talking about around that center kind of porthole, all the whipping that's done, that interior whipping. Rebecca, is that over a cord in the center? That is really beautiful. And notice the amount of quilly in the border of this piece. Oh, this is the inspiration piece for the main trip. Okay, that makes more sense. I can teach this. It would be fun for one of us to do. It's all you, Rebecca, all you. This is the inspiration piece. Okay, might you have come down to do it with our group? Yeah, that's right. You two are quite close to each other. Rebecca, I'd love it if you did it online too. Maybe that's something we could talk about, because you're going to have a big audience for a lot of this stuff. This is just really great stuff. Yes, couched over cord. Right, so you see how there looks like there's a piece in the center that's whip stitched, but wait a minute, that's not the border. That is couched over a cord. Couching is an embroidery term, right? Absolutely beautiful. Couching is done with, as you can imagine, a needle, right? I can't imagine there's any other way to do it. You used a punch needle to jump over the cord. Of course you did. You're a magician. Absolutely beautiful. And again, the quilly. Now, Rebecca has a huge line of wool, right? Because you do a lot of hooking. I'm sorry, wool and yarn, but I meant to say yarn. You are really well known for your colors. Storyteller wool is beautiful, beautiful cakes of any color you can imagine. And you do a lot of hooking with wool, but you also do a lot of hooking with everything. I love how you did the background hooking with wool and then you inset the quillies. It is absolutely a stunning piece. This is another stunning piece. Does this one have a title? This is a punched piece because Rebecca is very well known for her punching. Again, everything. But you are really well known for your punching, right? This is like really what distinguishes you is your phenomenal punching. You've done articles for Raw Cooking Magazine. Rebecca also has a book coming out on the same schedule as mine, right? She already has hers in, right, because she's normal. I'm still waiting, but they'll probably come out right about the same time, all the same. Beautiful, beautiful work. Her book is going to be beautiful, and you can imagine I'm going to be touting Rebecca's book when it comes out. Also, Amory Press, Raw Cooking Magazine, at least as much as I tout my own, because it's going to. And remember, the book I have out right now is my first book, and we're talking about the second books right now. This is the cycle. We're just submitting them this spring, so this is going to be exciting. We're going to be looking forward hugely to that release. Friendship Padua is the title. Friendship Padua is the title. I'm sorry. So this is Friendship Padua is the title of this one. Beautiful composition with the green swirl, the sky blue background, the layers of pink, right? My favorite color, this kind of dusty rose. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And tons of directional punching. You know, it really takes a good puncher. I think, unlike with hooking, it's much harder to show direction or to show directional flow with yarn than it is with wool strips, right? Because no matter how thick your yarn is, it comes up like a little nubbin on the top. And with wool strips, when you go Padula, that's what I thought. I was thinking Padua like the place, Padula like Padula flower. Makes way more sense. I was thinking of that song from Kiss Me Kate, because don't they mention Padua in it? That flew into my mind for some stupid reason. When you're a master at punching, and Rebecca certainly is, you do get such a sense of direction. And it really is something. It's something to work toward, because it just gives more energy to your piece, doesn't it? Oop, I went in the wrong direction. Oh my God. I mean, this is, Rebecca, I don't think I've seen this piece. So this is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm seeing the couching again, and I'm guessing you are couching again with the punch needle. And it's like it created a little hollow offspring owl. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, so. Is he three-dimensional and applied? He must be, right? That little body. That is like such a little puff of cootness. I love it. Love the mixture of colors in the background. I can see in the background where the leaves are, you have done some needle felting right onto the backing. So lots of techniques here. It looks like we have a three-dimensional little character, the offspring owl, right, peeking out at us. You have certainly done needle felting. You have done couching, and I'm guessing again with your punch needle. You have done hooking with yarn. You have done hooking with wool strips. You are a marvel. Karen, this is amazing in person. I absolutely believe it. This is just a gorgeous piece. You are the techniques person. It's you. You are so good. Absolutely amazing. I would love to see this. If you have room, I know you're bringing a lot of stuff with you when you come. Another amazing piece. Now, this is incredible. Is this like, I'm going to let you describe this because I have not seen this piece. It's obviously like a river is running through, and we've got these wood, and talk about a multi-medium sort of collage piece, right? Absolutely beautiful. Little characters in wood coming out of sneaky places. I see wet felting, maybe some dry felting. Maybe it's all wet felting. I see hooking or punching with yarn. I see proddy on the sides of the banks of the river, right? This is just absolutely gorgeous. Is this like a sample piece, or is this a one of a kind of a piece? And if you can, Rebecca, give us the title of this piece. I'm just going to take a quick swig here. Oh, fantastic. Oh, otter playmat. Hooked punch, proddy, wet felting, and needle felting. Absolutely gorgeous. So different. Let me just drag up and down. Yep, I just want to be sure I got the whole image in there for you. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely love this piece too, right? This is I'm guessing this is an all punched piece, Christmas. I love this. Rebecca, I just know that you must love beautiful ornaments. I just know that you do, because these look like a lot of the glass ornaments I have that are vintage ornaments. They just have so much charm about them. Gift for your baby niece. She got, oh, that's what you were working on. She's 1 year old today. Oh, that little sweetheart. Okay, so that was the otter playmat. All right, that makes sense because we talked about that. Oops, wrong way. Spoiler alert. We talked about this quite a bit. It's absolutely beautiful. What a gorgeous gift. I love this. Give us the name of this piece too. I always love holiday pieces. This is so simple and lovely, right? Just these few little willowy branches with different colored fronds on them, very symmetrical ornaments hanging down, but functioning as a sampler with lots of different colors, right? These swirls coming out from underneath. I love to see pink in Christmas compositions, right? I love to see pink. For me, pink is like one of these mid-century vintage legit Christmas colors. And you see the background has little kisses of pink, little hints of pink in it. Christmas memories based on your mother-in-law's ornaments. God, that's beautiful. What a gorgeous piece. And I did a little bit of a spoiler for this. This is like little succulents. Is that the right word for these kinds of plants in a pot? This is like a sampler piece as well. At least it looks it. Beautiful quilly work and standing wool, right? Flowers made of proddy pulled through just right. It's absolutely beautiful. I always am attracted to, let me lift it a little bit. I'm always attracted to, I mean, I just learned the word succulent. It didn't sound like what it is, does it? I mean, it sounds like something completely different. But I finally figured out what it was. And when I look at examples of it at the store, even the grocery store sells little pots of them. It's always so much texture, so many odd shapes. It's just so much fun seeing them. I just love this. Oh, hi, Allie. Good to see you. I just love this little arrangement. And I just love woolly flowers because they're gonna last, aren't they? They're gonna last. I love all flowers. It's always fun to get flowers. It's always something special. But when you have ones like this that you can keep out all the time, it's just such a great idea. I forgot how much not traditional stuff you do. You do so much three-dimensional stuff, so much fun, so much bling. This was in Rug Hooking Magazine, right? Rebecca, this one was? I forgot the name of this one too. Tell us in the margin if you don't mind. Beautiful punched piece. Absolutely great kind of Art Deco flair to it, right? The shape of the flowers are almost like fan flowers with a little bit of bling on them, the sequins sewn onto them. The swirls that are coming up looks a little bit like Japanois, kind of a bit of an Asian feel, right? Because of the flowers, I think, but also because of those swirls. It's very Art Deco with that big blue circle behind. It looks like it could be the inspiration for an Erte, right? Erte would have loved this piece. International Punch Needle Day pattern 2022. That's right. So a lot of people were punching this at that time, as they should have been. What a beautiful, beautiful, simple project. Simple, effective, glamorous, right? Great contrasting colors, right? Right opposite each other on the color wheel. Just a stunning, stunning piece. Perfect choice for International Punch Day. Rebecca, I had never seen this piece, so I didn't even have a starting point in describing this. This is so lovely. Melissa says, incredible work. I think I need to try punch needle. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Rebecca does it so, so, so well. But punch needle is fun. It is well worth trying. It's just another gorgeous piece. It looks like this is this all wool strips? This is a great example of shelves of color too. This has a nice vintage feel for me because it's like there's the border of leaves. It looks almost like a vintage postcard. You know how the old Victorian postcards used to have a beautiful border with all kinds of limbs of trees, just like this, like kind of birch or aspen wherever you live. This definitely looks like a Western view. This looks like the Tetons or something. I don't think we have anything that looks quite this dramatic on the East Coast. Choose Joy. This is a lake just down from your house. Punch needle. Oh, it's all punch needle. Wow, you are so good. Lots of directional punching here, right? Look at the cattails at the bottom, how they lead your eye up. It's like a happy little audience dancing up. And then all those beautiful waves, very gray, very moody and atmospheric, and the greens pulling from the middle of the composition to the bottom left-hand corner in the southwest corner. Beautiful. I like the white. I know you have a lot of aspen out there. Really beautiful, and also using a bit of the white to hit the peaks of the mountains. What range is that? That is so, so beautiful. Many different sizes of needles going from tall to short, right? So you're using different sizes of needles, but regular and fine, right? But then different heights of needles, so you're getting different heights of loops, which is giving you a lot of the prestige of this piece, I'm sure, right? Seeing it close up, because it looks like a large piece, I would expect to see a lot of texture. Choose Joy. That is a gorgeous piece. And I think this is the last one from Rebecca. This is another great piece. Tell us a little bit, Twin Peaks, Mount Meeker and Long. God, Twin Peaks, is that like the show Twin Peaks? It never occurred to me that the show Twin Peaks could have been based on actual peaks. Interesting. Long's Peak. Interesting. I feel so dry right now. I'm talking a lot and I have only a drip of wine. Let me see if I can be very subtle here. Hold on. Gosh, I'm so thirsty in here. Yeah, oh God, I'm so thirsty. I feel like I'm gonna just dry up completely. I think that was subtle. Was that subtle? Long's Peak, absolutely beautiful. Rebecca, tell us about this piece. This looks like an amazing, well, it looks like a hexi quilt, doesn't it? With like almost like with yo-yos in the center. So beautiful. Talk about different heights of punching. So when she's talking about different heights of punching, right, this looks like a regular needle, like the larger needle with the larger shaft, as opposed to, thank you, the fine needle, which has a much thinner shaft, just for thinner weights and worsteds, you know. But different heights, right? And you can get the different heights by buying different punch needles or by using those washers, the rings to put on the punch needles to get different heights. It stops it going quite as far, right, and giving you such a tall loop. So there's lots of ways you can achieve different heights of needle. Absolutely beautiful. Love the colors on this too. I might flip back to it if you are giving us a title for it, because I don't want to cut it off too short. I just think this is, in terms of patterning, absolutely gorgeous. Playing around with leaving the background exposed. I used both the front and back stitches. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I guess with a pattern like this, you could work both sides, couldn't you? Because you flip it over and you see where the lines are and you see where you're supposed to be. Absolutely beautiful. You are such a colorist too, right? I love everything about you. I just love you. So I can't wait to see you. And you know that when Rebecca comes to see me in July, we will be recording a show, and if you're going to be at the book signing, you'll be able to meet her too, 2-for-1 special. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, we will certainly do a show together because we have lots of fun together, lots in common, lots to talk about. So yeah, you'll be seeing Rebecca's face soon live next month in July when we get together. That'll be a lot of fun. Rebecca, thank you so much for sending those. Those were just gorgeous. I'm going to come back down here and let me see. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through because I worked a little bit out of order. Colleen, I should have you right there. There you are. There you are. This is, you know, the punch and rug hooking world. I have to say, I am not including myself in this at all. It's made up of some beautiful women and men. But it just seems like Charlie's Angels when I look at the photos of you all. Just gorgeous. So this is Colleen Tiefenthal, right? Colleen, I think you're on right now too. Colleen's company is Beechnut Studio. We talk about Colleen's work a lot, but not as much as we are going to right now, right? I really want to showcase it. So I just want to remind you, if you're logging on late or if you forgot, in the description of this video that you're watching, there are links to the shops and sites of all of the people who I'm featuring in tonight's episode, Getting to Know You. So make sure that you check them out over the weekend, see what kinds of products, supplies, patterns, what forms of patterns, what kind of work everybody does, right? It's a lot of fun to get to know these different designers. As I said, everybody I'm featuring tonight is such a deserving person, right? Deserving of getting lots of orders, lots of business, leveling up, everything, right, is right. Everything is gorgeous. Look at The Sea is Calling. This beautiful piece called The Sea is Calling. Now, Colleen, you do a lot of nautical stuff because you live on the East Coast, right? So water is a big part of your life. You know, let me start by answering the questions for you. Hang on just a second. Getting stuck. Let's have Colleen answer her questions first, right? So, your favorite movie is My Cousin Vinny. I'm surprised. I love that movie too. That is so funny. I have not seen that for years. Favorite book? You're not sure you have a favorite. I bet you're a really big reader. Oh, I want to say before I forget, I will be seeing Colleen in July too, because I'm making that trip to Delaware to drop the Van Gogh rugs off to Shannon Carter, and I will be visiting with the Wilmingtons. Right? I will be at that meeting of the Wilmingtons, and Colleen, I think you're there. and there's a bunch of other buddies there who are often on our thread. I will be there too. I'm sure we'll do something live from there that's for fun, but I'll be there fooling around and hanging out. And then I am going to make a separate trip to Colleen's studio, Beach Nut Studio, to talk to Colleen, to look at your work, to look where you work, maybe do a live show so people can be asking questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. July is a big month we got coming up here. So, oh, wait a minute, let's finish this. We barely started. So, my cousin Vinny, your favorite vacation has been the Caribbean. I can see that. I can definitely see that. But your dream vacation is to go to Ireland with your family. And I know that you are Irish, so that would be you look very Irish. That would be a wonderful vacation. Your favorite holiday to design for is Halloween. I didn't know that about you, but I can see that. You have, your Halloween is pattern that I'm going to show is one of my favorite Halloween patterns of all time. Absolutely love it. What are your other hobbies? Painting, gardening, and nature. Do you collect anything? Turtles and plants. Unexpected. And you had a box turtle going across your yard yesterday, right? I saw that photo. So cute. What is your best recipe? Homemade calzones or calzones. Do you say calzones? I say calzone. I'm not sure I'm right. I love them. I gobble those up, man. What would you most like to learn how to do? And you said learn Adobe Illustrator. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. That'd be really useful too, wouldn't it? Aside from necessities, what's one thing that you couldn't do a day without? And you answered sweets. Oh, yeah. I almost lost my mind because I could not find the rest of my saltwater taffies the other day. I almost had a breakdown because I remember what flavors were left and I hadn't tasted them yet. So I get that. I get that response. What are you most thankful for? Your family. And what are you most looking forward to? And you wrote a trip to see my kids. Great answers. Not that there are any wrong answers, but great answers. I just love this piece called The Sea is Calling. So again, Beach Nut Studios, we're going to look at some of Colleen's work. Such beautiful images. And be sure to be writing some of this down or opening tabs that you can visit later. This is the Halloween party. This is one of my all-time faves. I just love the vintage feel of this piece. I love the triangle border on the top and bottom. I love that it's not the whole way around. Love the purple sky. And then there's some other cutie stuff going on. Like it almost looks like the sort of vintage jack-o'-lantern with the teeth. I love a jack-o'-lantern with a rectangle nose, right? And round eyes. Those are my absolute favorites. I love how it looks like its shoulders, but it's a bat. It's a bat underneath them. You've got like this is like the Halloween version of the Musicians of Bremen, right? Like all these characters stacked up. Bat, pumpkin, cat, and then two ghosts in the sky. Do you see up in the sky how there's a cloud and there's two ghosts nestled in there? The moon in the center. It is just a beautiful, whimsical, fun piece with lots of the characters we would expect to see and hope to see for Halloween. It's just a gorgeous piece. Another gorgeous piece. This is called Below the Surface. Colleen, I also love how you do pieces that are very, very stretched rectangles. You don't always go for just like the golden rectangle. You often do something that's very dramatic, either horizontally or vertically, like The Sea is Calling was horizontal. This is more vertical, below the surface. Another absolutely beautiful pattern. You love nature. That comes right across. You love the sea. So putting these two things together for you really marks your unique style. And I love that when I look at your work, you do have something of a theme, right? You are varied and you do a little bit of everything, but I can really tell your work when you see it, and that is a good thing. Love this beautiful composition with the flag. This is called Maryland with Black-Eyed Daisies. This is such a cheerful, beautiful pride of place, right? Everybody loves if you love the state that you live in, you've got to have something like this, right? If you're in Maryland, this would be like, whoa, such a treasure to hook, such a treasure to display. The Pradi is absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Looks like a racing flag. That's not a racing flag. I don't know anything about flags. I love how some of the flowers here, well, they have different, you see how some of the petals are plaid and some are solid? And you see how some of them are hooked and some of them are three-dimensional? Love the variety, Colleen. It's just gorgeous. Another gorgeous piece, this is called Lighthouse at the Point, and it's hooked by her friend Candy W. And another beautiful piece with lots of great directional hooking, a very good statement piece, a tree giving one border over on the right, very dramatic composition, really lovely. Strong vertical of the tree, strong vertical of the lighthouse. You've got, because it's a night scene, you can see that the water is in darkness, the grass is in darkness, but you do see that great beam of light that's providing a really powerful horizontal, which you need with the strong verticals. And then all of the leaves are softening it up a little bit. Diana, great to see you. Good evening in New Jersey. Happy that you're there. That flag is the Maryland flag. It is very unique. It is very unique. It's got a lot going on, right? It's got two fields of checkers, and it's got two sort of fields with quadrants, and almost looks like heraldry. Really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. This beautiful piece too, that your friend Kathy W. hooked. Sorry, things happening. Don't worry, it's all good. Really lovely. And I love the birds that are kind of caught in the ray of light. That's just very romantic, very eerie, really a sense of place. I just love that. And this is a beautiful footstool that you recently hooked for your mother-in-law. And this is called, I think, Cardinal's Friendship, right? Beautifully done. The hooked piece right on top there with hearts in two corners. This is a monochromatic piece, right? Because the whites are neutrals. And there's a little bit of a bluey white, like a parchment white, a bluey white, and there's a patterned white, right? It's a bit of a, I don't know, like a tweedy. Really pretty, but they all come together to make a hit or miss white background that is very, very, it reads very much as white, but much more interesting. And with only one color family, and that being red, this is a monochromatic piece. It is so hard to do monochromatic pieces, but you killed this. This is just gorgeous. I bet your mother-in-law, has she seen this one yet, Colleen? I bet she is absolutely over the moon for this. This is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Who wouldn't love getting that for a gift, right? I love this piece too. This is You're Never Too Small to Make a Difference. I think we looked at this and your other bee piece that had some tulle off of it one night. I pulled them off of your site, or I pulled them off of Facebook. I love your bee pieces. Colleen has quite a few bee compositions. And bees are such a popular subject right now because of their plight. And because it's summertime, right? Lots of reasons. But this one, this has like is this like an inset, Colleen? Is this like an applique in the middle? Because it looks not at all hooked where that little heart is. And the antennae are making, sort of hugging in a beautiful heart shape. But it looks like that little puffy piece there is either trapunto or a little piece of applique, just a straight up cloth piece of fabric, right? It doesn't look hooked. I might be wrong, but it looks very soft. And fabricy, really stands out. I like how it's not white. I like how it's that soft, soft, soft pink. I love how the antennae are making that soft, rounded hug, right, of the heart shape. And I love how the branches underneath the bee are doing something similar. I love the very bold flowers on the corners. Really, really, really good composition. Really good. Really, simple is so hard to do. And this is simple, but it is so, so striking and memorable. It's whimsical. Oh, it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. This piece, the piece with toile was hooked by Beverly. The heart is trapunto. Yep, I think that's how you spell it. So trapunto is when you, and you probably know this already, but trapunto is when you have two, I know I've done this live, but not lately. You have two pieces of fabric and say, this is the hooked piece. Say all these lines is all your hooking, right? And you put a second piece behind it. Say you want the trapunto just right here, right? Just right here. Right. Pretend this is the heart, right? A little bit neater than that. And then you could cut. Just want to be sure I'm not going to use these. Nope, these are done. Wouldn't that be a good punchline? You would take a little piece of fabric, right? And you would put it behind your hole. And no, it wouldn't be a hole. No, it wouldn't be a hole. It wouldn't be a hole. Disregard this. Disregard this. It'd be, just pretend that the shape, right? It's the shape. You're putting a second piece behind it, and with that second piece, you're sewing it on, and then you are cutting, this is where we want it, then you're cutting that second piece and stuffing it with just a little bit of stuffing, right? Just a little bit of stuffing. So on the front, it puffs out just a little bit. right? Just a little. It can be degrees, right? You can get it crazy punched out, crazy high relief, right? Crazy beyond Waldeboro. But you could also do it very subtly, the way that Colleen has done it here. Really catches your eye, but it doesn't punch your eye, right? It's really, really tasteful and sweet. Beautiful piece. Let me see what else we got here. Hang on. There we go. It takes me a minute to find my place again. Mermaids Treasures, another stunning piece. It's almost like you're like the master of underwater still lifes, right? I just love the way you put a good montage together with the very geometric coral, the lovely tortoisey seashell, the starfish, and in the back, like hanging there like a moon, beautiful sand dollar. Absolutely beautiful, and a little bit of greenery around the edges, soft, swirly directional hooking in the background blue, right? Really, really lovely. Another lovely piece, Yin Yang Pisces rug. Colleen, you must be a Pisces. We probably said this before. I'm a Pisces, so I love a good Pisces motif. But it looks like you hooked the background of this really atmospheric piece. Oh, it looks like you hooked the whole thing with yarn. Is that possible? That is so pretty. I love how from one fish to the next, it is the yin and the yang, the colors kind of switch in between. Oh, Linda Ann, good to see you. And you're on Richard's account, I see. Good to see you. I love how they complement each other, jumping back and forth for the blues, the yellows, the pinks, the gray color. Really beautiful. This is another absolute stunner. This is called Fox and Hare. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Like, this is like an iconic piece. Classic kind of primitive composition, in a stretched demi or half moon shape, right? Absolutely gorgeous, beautiful antique black marble cake background there. Yes, all yarn. Beautiful, Colleen. These are just amazing. This one, it looks like, was featured in, I hear my phone ringing, but if you can't, oh, let me just shut it off. This was featured in, it looks like, Atha magazine, as it should be. And I can see in the photo in Atha magazine, it was right on your hearth there with some beautiful candles lit. Such a pretty piece. This piece I fell in love with immediately, Organized Chaos. I would not have known this is one of your pieces, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. Another one I hadn't seen of yours. Oh, Country Gal Ruth, it's good to see you. Good to see you. I have not seen this one, Colleen. This is called It Just Feels Right, but with a W, like Frank Lloyd Wright, right? Clever, super clever. Love the decoration. I love the sort of ginkgo leaf thing. It is very Lloyd Wright, isn't it? The little squares around the edges. Beautiful. This, I mean, I'm assuming this is like a chair pad, and I never think about chair pads, but this made me think about them because I thought, oh, to have something like this would really be amazing, really fun. Very arts and crafts, right? That's not a surprise because it's a period of art that we're talking about. I love the use of white. It's very striking. It's very striking. You've got white and black in here, and yet it remains a very colorful piece, very atmospheric piece. Beautiful color palette. Another adorable one, Somebody to Love, right? These pieces are all in Colleen's Etsy store, right, Colleen? I think they're all in there. So you have got to click on that link over the weekend or later tonight and make a trip. Again, this one is called Somebody to Love. This one is called A Night on the Town. This is one I really love because this is going to be a three-dimensional piece, right? And this is something I don't do any of, maybe in the future, but I love to see you all doing three-dimensional pieces. Such a lot of fun, and this is what you're going to land with, right? There's Kitty by the door and a little glimpse of the, almost like a little turban of the night sky with the sun and moon. Absolutely beautiful. Love the shape of him. Love his whiskers drooping down like that. Kara, great to see you. Happy Friday night. This is so beautiful, Colleen. I love the big eyes. He's got the big moon eyes, too. Kirsten, you would love this, right? Kirsten loves the cats. Absolutely beautiful. And I think I have one more of yours, Colleen, that is just super, super striking. Colleen, this was in Atha magazine, wasn't it? Was this like a group thing with you and the buddies? The Nutcrackers? Season's Greetings. I love a good Nutcracker. Somehow that didn't sound right when I said it, but you know what I mean. I have a collection of them and I absolutely love them. Stunning cats, stunning everything, right? Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to wet my whistle and we're going to move on to our next artist, Kelly Smith. right? So again, all of the links for the artists that we're talking about tonight are both in the Facebook group. They are in the description of the YouTube video. They are in the description of the video that you're watching right now. Later, when I'm not live anymore, they will still be in the description of the video, right? So you can just click on the live links and visit all these different artist studios and shops, whether they are just a www or an Etsy store. You will be able to find these patterns, shop, check things out. Yes, the Wilmington ladies did some. So it was a series of nutcrackers in Atha magazine, right? I feel like I remember that in Atha. So beautiful, Colleen. So beautiful. I wish that we were together so we could do round of applause when I end on each person's section, right? Okay, hang on. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of a struggle, and I am keeping my eye on the time. I'm definitely running late. Kelly, right? Another one of the Charlie's Angels beauties here. We got all beauties in the show. Kelly Smith. I talk about Kelly Smith's work a lot too. I hope I talk about everybody's work. These are all friends. These are all people who do beautiful, beautiful original designing and have rug hooking businesses, right? So again, you can click the link for Kelly Smith Designs in the body of the email or on Facebook. Kelly does such beautiful, whimsical work. This piece is called Clyde. I remember this from our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. Let's do this again where we get to know Kelly a little bit first before we look at I Love Clyde. When that came out on the Facebook group, I almost honestly fell off my chair. It was so different than anything I'd seen before. It was fun. It was whimsical. It was a bit folky and primitive. It was funny. Just a great piece. Kirsten's given the round of applause. I like that. So I asked Kelly the same questions. What's your favorite movie? Indiana Jones, and she also loves, equally, The Muppets Christmas Carol. Now, those are two classics for sure. What's your favorite book? Hind Feet on High Places. Ooh, I don't know that book either. Interesting. Favorite vacation you've had? A big family vacation in Myrtle Beach. Oh, that sounds beautiful. And her dream vacation is, well, she lives in Florida now, so she said her dream vacation would be somewhere in the mountains, right? The opposite. What is your favorite holiday? Christmas. What are your other hobbies? Painting, knitting, crocheting, embroidery, gardening, macrame. She basically loves making stuff. Anything she loves making. Do you collect anything? And she wrote, laughing out loud, my husband would say yarn, wool fabric, art supplies, and plants, because you can never have enough. Amen to that. That is true. What is your best recipe? And she wrote, my mom's lasagna. What would you most like to learn to do? And she wrote, oh, I would love to learn to make stained glass and to make jewelry. My grandpa was a jeweler, and my dad did stained glass. I used to teach stained glass at a local college here years ago. It is very fun to do. Very fun. Aside from necessities, what's one thing that you couldn't last a day without? And she said, a good morning and a good kiss, a goodbye kiss, and hey, and I'm home kiss from my husband. I killed that sentence, but it was so sweet. A good morning, a goodbye kiss, and a hey, I'm home kiss from my husband. That is really, really nice. Really nice. What are you most thankful for? She said, Jesus, my family, and all 5 of my kids love each other deeply, and they are best friends. That is an incredibly positive scenario. Much to be thankful for. And last question, what are you most looking forward to? And Kelly said, well, my kids range in age from 18 to 27, and I'm looking forward to seeing them all settle down as grown-ups and enjoying their journey getting there. Oh, so nice. So nice. It's so nice getting to know you all. It really is. I just got the kid. Oh, Crystal, you just got the kiddo to bed. I haven't done your section yet. So you are good. I am running so late tonight. I am a disaster. Let's see. We're looking at such good work. I can't. Hold on. Hold on. Trouble. All right, there we go. All right. So this is Kelly's piece called Clyde. And again, I mean, this bear out there in the bathtub with the bubble bath, using the tree as a towel rack, bubbles in the air, big sunrise behind. Look at the movement in the grass. Look at the little clump of bubbles on his head. He looks ridiculous, adorable, sweet, and funny. It is just a fantastic piece. Clyde. This is another very memorable piece that went wild on Facebook because I think, if I remember right, Kelly, there were quite a few versions of it. Luna Owns the World. This was such a popular pattern. I'm sure it continues to be a popular pattern. This is one that I really, really loved and admired. Again, this is Kelly Smith, and this image is called Luna Owns the World. Isn't that how all cats feel, right? They are so presumptuous. And this is a beautiful one that I don't think I've seen before. It's called Unamused. Absolutely love this. This is a great chicken. I never know the difference between a chicken and a rooster. Composition. Love the colors in the ground. Love the flowers in the ground. The distant house. The soft clouds. This is just the trees over on the right. Beautiful bird. This is just another absolutely gorgeous piece. And again, these are all Kelly Smith designs. And you can click on the link to find her at the end of the show, if you can wait. Paper Flowers, this is another one that blew me away when I saw you working on it. I realized that you had taken hit or miss backgrounds or sort of marble cake backgrounds to the next level. I never thought of doing anything like this because it's partly marble caked and it's partly color field or color blocked. It is so different. It does have the feel of a patterning composition, like it's a pattern as opposed to a composition, but it's really not. It's almost like a cropped bouquet. It's a little of both. Very interesting color palette, absolutely stunning color palette, very unexpected. In placement of color, right, really, really beautiful. Ruth says, beautiful flower fields, absolutely gorgeous. Let Us Adore Him. I do love your, I love your holiday work. Love your holiday work. Let Us Adore Him, obviously is a Christmas thing. This is 2022, right? So this is the Magi, little sheep down at the bottom. When this came out, I was just awestruck. Mary's there with the babe. This is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Love this piece. Love the composition. Let Us Adore Him 2022. And here comes Santa 2022. I don't even know what to say. They're so good. Everything we're looking at tonight is so good. These are all rug making designers, right? Absolutely stunning. Beautiful hooked piece. I love the handling of the sky, the black and white sort of peppermint striping in the sky, the swirls. Really, I would say make this piece, but there's so many things that make this piece. For me, one of them is the sort of unexpected coloring, right? Like the blue teddy bear is a little unexpected. The green sack, I am used to seeing a black sack, but a black sack would be a bit of a letdown because the sky is black. And I'm happy that the sky is back. I like the little blush in his cheeks. It's just a beautiful piece. You have such a sense that there's so many toys here. I love that it's a dated piece too, 2022. So when you look on 10, 20 years from now, just a gorgeous piece. Gorgeous piece. So this is Flower Fields. This is another jaw dropper for me. When Kelly got going with designing, every time I logged on and I saw something that she'd posted, I was just amazed. Because again, look at the handling of the grass, look at the handling of the sky, look at the breakdown of color, right? Color fields or blocking of color to create different flower beds. There's so much color in here. I love that you are always using, in pretty much all of your compositions, I think, this very russet red color, the paprika kind of rusty color. For me, you using those rusty colors in tandem with cool colors like cool greens and cool blues is super signature you. That's how when I glance at something, I know that it's you. It's just you do go to that color like it's a baseline, and it absolutely is right. It works great. It's magic. I've never seen anybody use this color the way that you do and have it be present in most compositions as you do. In my mind, it has become your signature, and I think it is the best possible signature one can have. Because you use it perfectly in every composition, and it balances out the warms and the cools in a way that really is like magic in alchemy. For me to achieve something like this, I'd have to outright copy the colors, because this is just masterful color planning. It is just gorgeous. Flower Fields. Oh, okay. So we are making a transition. Kelly, thank you so much for those designs and for allowing us to use them. Absolutely beautiful. Kelly Smith Designs, that's Kelli, Smith Designs, right? And the link is in the body of the video that you're watching now. This is my friend Naomi. Her company is, she's right one town over from here in Naugatuck, Connecticut. Sorry, Naomi, I should have told you I was using your Facebook picture. Her company is Ravensgate Primitives. And I was over there not that long ago. Oops, I got to lift him. She's so close, right? And she had a few things in the Hartford show too, right? She had the Hobbit one that was like the door, the like round door opening, the Hobbit piece, and she also had the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe piece. Those were her two pieces in that show. They were fantastic, if you remember those. I did a live show with her once. I went to her studio. She got a studio in the backyard, like a she shed. It's amazing. She also meets with her buddies. I think she's the only hooker but quilters in there, in her immediate neighborhood, I think every Wednesday. And I keep forgetting that she's there because it would be fun for us to go over sometime with the camera and check out what everybody's working on. They all seem like super nice people and would be fun to sit and chat. But she is going to be traveling shortly, and then she said, and I will be too, and I will still be running shows. And she said when she gets back, right after the 4th of July, she said, you should come over here some night and in the she shed and run a cocktail night. And she said, I'll get the cocktails. And I said, you're on. That sounds fantastic. We can run a really fun show from her place and look at some of her work close up. But we'll probably do that right after the 4th of July. I think that'll be, you're on. I'm always invited. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't realize you were there. I love her style too, Deborah. Everything that we're seeing tonight is absolutely fantastic. Naomi, since you're on, what do you have a title for this piece? Oh, I'm trying to read the text on it, and my glasses are not quite in focus. Help me out if you can. I love this piece. It's super cheerful. It has it reminds me a little bit of the Grateful Dead. Is that me? It's just so cool. It has a bit of like, not tie-dye, because it's not tie-dye. It's for me, it's such a happy, cheerful, fun, music-y cross between, in my mind, right? In my mind, not Naomi's mind, Grateful Dead bunnies. Okay, so it's not just me. I was going to say the Grateful Dead and Garrett Bluenose Three Bears, right? Like that kind of a feel. I'm glad that that's not me. Grateful Dead bunnies. This is so funny. This is so funny because it's a great primitive composition and we are relating it to the Grateful Dead. Unexpected, so fun. What a great colorful piece. You are fabulous at hooking. Look at this white background. Look at all the great directional hooking that you're seeing there. This is just a gorgeous piece. Another very simple piece that is unforgettable. It's a real standout piece. Deborah, her loops look super clean and perfect. Yeah, they are super clean and perfect. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Another gorgeous piece. Do you have a title for this one? Beautiful village scene. More astonishing directional hooking, right? Because I love how it reminds me of the little wooden village, like the little ones you put over your door or whatever. Row Jimmy lyrics. So is Row Jimmy a Grateful Dead song? See how unhip I am? I used to go see Max Creek back in the day. This was like, if I'm 51 now, I must have been 16, right? And definitely not too old enough to drink, which that was never a problem in those days. But Max Creek was a Grateful Dead cover band, and I still don't know any of their songs except Fire on the Mountain. Shame on me, right? Shame on me. Because they must be fantastic since they have eternally been popular, right? Christmas Village. All right. Christmas Village. I love this piece because it's unexpected that it's not perched on like a hill or a grassy plain. It's almost like it's snowy in the background, or I love how they're standalone units. I love how it's a village, and in that way it is unified, right? But it's just a happy nighttime kind of lights lit glimpse, and in the middle of the church with the stained glass windows, absolutely gorgeous. Such a fun primitive piece. Naomi really specializes in primitive style, and she really is a master at it. The directional hooking in this is amazing too, because with the Grateful Dead bunnies, you went around and around and around like echoes, but with this one you did all horizontal hooking, right up to each tree and the side of each building. Really beautiful. Veronica noticed that too. Excellent directional hooking. Love this. Sock yarn for the stained glass. So is it color changing sock yarn and you just filled it in and it changed color for you as you went along? Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful hooking. Another gorgeous piece. Give us the name for this one. This is another gorgeous one. This has a bit of a pen Dutch feel, right? Super symmetrical. It looks a lot like toll painting, decorative painting. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the background. I love the color, like the plant, the leaf color. I love the flower color. They almost look like little skirts, right? Rows of color. That central flower with the dit dots around it, like almost like a spoke. Really beautiful, really what fracture flowers. There we go. So fractures, I'll just define this in case you're new to watching the show or you need a definition for fracture. Fracture is it's a document that would, like a pen Dutch, we're talking about Lancaster County, that kind of area. A fracture would be any kind of official document that would include both text and drawing, right? So you would decorate any legal document, right, to make it more pretty, more important, more special, whether it was like a marriage certificate, a death sort of will, a birth announcement, a marriage certificate, anything would have been decorated beautifully with unique decoration. And those documents are now called fractures, and it's a great source to pull from because they're very old and in most cases out of copyright, adapted from a vintage embroidery pattern. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Primitive is my favorite style by far. And I love to see the variety of designs, right? You do lots of different subjects. I'm just looking for where we are in the slideshow again. I'm having fun with the computer. There we go. Oh, this is very different. So I'm going to need help with this one too. You do like really hip stuff. And I love that about you. It like mystifies me because I'm not that hip. And I look at your stuff and I'm like, man, she's killing it with like this cool, colorful, Grateful Dead stuff. It's so cool. I'm like working on a Barry Manilow composition, seriously, of like Copacabana. This is so cool. Hamsa hand. Now I'm gonna have to look that up. I'll do that after the show because I'm a little bit worried about time. I recognize that this is an Indian motif, right? I just don't know exactly the symbolism. I realize what the eye is in terms of like Egyptian lore, masons, all that stuff. But this might have a slightly different spin to it. I'm going to have to evil eye protection. Okay, so this is almost like the Turkish eye. It's giving you protection. That's very cool. That's a very cool composition, and this is a shaped composition. Right, you gots to love a shaped composition, meaning the edge is not an expected shape, a square, a rectangle, an oval, a demi. This is shaped, and it's beautifully done. You've beautifully finished the edges. Lots of swirls, lots of colors, super, super fun. And Naomi, are most of these designs available as patterns in your Etsy shop? This is another absolute stunner. And I just love the vignette that you've set up here, right, with the shutter. Like you see beautiful old sort of architectural salvage and stuff languishing all over the place. And it's great to do something like this. It's like a pelmet or a valance, right? The way you've got it hanging on it. It's just beautiful. It looks weathered. It's taking on those weathered they will be. Excellent. The weathered properties of the shutter itself. Beautiful antique black. Look at the color palette on this. We've got that antique black, that kind of more red than raspberry value, the kind of what looks like a lemongrass green, and then very, very kind of light denim blue, it looks like, and then like an antique mauve. Incredible color palette. Incredible. And another shaped piece from you. So beautiful. I mean, it's such a great idea. If you have stuff like this lying around, I have so much architectural salvage stuff in the garage that I picked up because I couldn't put it back down, and I have no idea what to do with it. I guess I think I'm going to be like the crooked woman in the crooked house with the crooked cat and the crooked dog, making this weird Winchester kind of mansion of a house, endless building with all these different rooms and archways, and I'm never going to do it. So I might as well take things out like this and put pretty valances and hook things for them the way that you have. I'm not going to be a copycat, I promise. But I just love this idea. I think it makes a lot of sense. Another beautiful piece, right? This is is this a dragon? This must be a dragon. You love like the sci-fi Hobbit stuff. You love that kind of, you straddle that line with your work between primitive stuff that's real traditional and then subjects that are really different. Super, super, super fun. Really fun. And I'm going to zip along because I know I'm getting there with time. Another beautiful piece. And Naomi, you also sell finished pieces in your shop. The Four Seasons, right? Very simple, but very effective color-wise. The color change from spring, summer, fall into winter. Beautiful silhouettes, right? Beautiful repeat motifs. Looks a bit like a sampler. Really a lovely piece. Another lovely piece, right? Is this monk's cloth? Are you on monk's cloth here? You've got you did not go for the low-hanging fruit. You did, this is an alternate pattern or a checkerboard pattern, and you have got a different flower in every other box, which is a bit like of a Baltimore album quilt feel to it. And instead of going for the straight across or top to bottom, hit or miss hooking, you went diagonal, right? Which is a little bit harder, and it's so beautiful and so tidy, like all of your work. It really is super, super, super lovely. Another lovely piece, beautiful prancing horse, a bit of a weather vane feel, a bit of a Magdalena Bryan or E.B. feel, just beautiful, folky, classic horse. Antique black, beautiful, mellow, light khaki background, and all of these gorgeous, colorful lamb's tongues around the border, right, in the bullet hole corners. Really beautiful, very architectural, very primitive, very old time, very historic looking, but still fresh and colorful and exciting for us to look at today. Really beautiful piece. Another beautiful piece. Another piece that reminds me of a Baltimore album quilt or a sampler. Really, really, really beautiful. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hang on, hang on. Naomi, I didn't read your answers. Let's go. So I asked Naomi the same questions. Favorite movie? Practical Magic. We were just talking about Sandra Bullock at the beginning. If you were there for that, I think Practical Magic. I don't know if it's it's definitely in my top 5. I think Meet Me in St. Louis is. See, I couldn't even say that anything else was my favorite movie because I think Meet Me in St. Louis is my favorite movie, and nothing else will even exit my mouth, along with Christmas in Connecticut and The Bishop's Wife. And I love Practical. This kiss. That was that movie, right? Ah, love that movie. And favorite book, The Hobbit. Well, Teddy's calling me. He just doesn't get it. It's years in. Friday night I'm doing this, right? Favorite book, The Hobbit. Excellent. Excellent. Favorite vacation, Outer Banks to see the kids. Dream vacation, also going to Ireland, like Colleen, right? For a month. Just exploring. And your favorite holiday to design for, you design for all holidays. What are your other hobbies? Cross stitch. I didn't know that about you. Do you collect anything? You collect folk art, handmade folk art, birdhouses. Didn't know that about you either. That is fun. What is your best recipe? Lasagna. What would you most like to learn how to do? And you wrote any kind of glasswork. There's a lot of parallels between our friends tonight, right? Any kind of glasswork. Fun. Aside from necessities, what's one thing that you couldn't do a day without? And you wrote, Dr. Pepsi with cherry. And you wrote, I know that's awful for me. Oh, but it's so good. I know that it's good. I love that stuff too. I love all the flavored Cokes and Pepsis. I just love them. There's a new Mountain Dew that's out. What is it? Is it cream something? It has like a cherry flavor to it, but it is so good. Whew. What are you most thankful for? My family. What are you most looking forward to seeing your family? Because you are about to travel to visit your family in Arkansas, right? Great work, super fun work. And as soon as you get back, I will be away for 4th of July as well. But as soon as we get back, let's shoot to spend that cocktail time together and have a real party. That'll be super fun, won't it? Really like the tonal backgrounds. Me too, Melanie. I can see you liking that as well because I see you doing that sometimes. I love the tonal backgrounds as well. It's very, very, very inspirational. Kirsten. Oh, Kirsten. Kirsten is another one of my great friends. Absolutely love your work. Kirsten's designs, I'll show you some of them. There are many more in the Ribbon Candy Hooking Store. You'll see the patterns, and then you'll see the drop-down box, and you'll see Kirsten's name, Kirsten Gay, and you drop down and you get her pages of patterns like this one, Singing in the Garden. Now you know Kirsten loves cats, right? You work with cats, you place cats, you have a lot of cats in your life, you have cats in your home. you do so well with cats. I mean, you are the master of the cat. Move over, Laurel Birch. Seriously, I love your cats. Seven Tangled Cats. Do you remember this great composition? Almost like a stencil effect where the cats are meeting in the center. They've been placed in silhouette and it becomes an abstract. And the incredible handling of the border on this piece really is remarkable. Seven Tangled Cats. Again, Singing in the Garden, Seven Tangled Cats. These are all, if you click the link, it brings you to Kirsten's designs, right? They are in the Ribbon Candy Hooking store, but they are Kirsten's designs, and they are under their own umbrella there. So you will be able to look and see all of the stuff that she does, a lot with animals. And if you love cats, you got to go check this stuff out. Dreaming in the Garden, so beautiful, really capturing the movements, the expressions, right? Cats do such distinctive stuff, but they do a lot of stuff that's the same. Not so much dogs, right? Because you get like 1,000 cats and their bodies all look kind of the same. I mean, some are fluffier than others and some are fatter than others, but in general, they have pretty much the same body with few exceptions. With dogs, you have so many different breeds. I mean, for me, even like a British Fold or like a Mancoon still looks like a cat. But with dogs, you get dogs that look like aliens, and you get dogs that look like wolves, and you get dogs that look like bears. They all look different. But Kirsten is so good at capturing those movements, like this little sleepy face, or little just wash my, you know how they lick their side of their paw, and then they do this crazy aggressive washing of the face, and they go over the ear, you know, like this. All cats do that, don't they? Because they're so fastidious. But Kirsten is so good at capturing those movements and the expressions in the cats. This is Two Sleeping Cats. Another absolute beauty. The sweetness, the softness. I love the whiskers in this piece. Right? We've talked about whiskers recently, and Kirsten came up with a great idea. It'd be good to do a video how different people handle whiskers. Right? We've seen a couple instances, even in this one show, of whiskers being handled in different ways. And certainly online, we see people doing whiskers in all kinds of different ways. You don't have to hook whiskers, right? I love the way that Kirsten handled these whiskers. Sometimes you do hook whiskers, right? It can go in any direction. And blue whiskers at that, which I think is so, are they blue whiskers or purple whiskers? And the blue is in the background. Could be that the blue is in the background. It's a real echo of a whisker for me. Lots of different fibers in Kirsten's work too. Lots of different materials, right? Fancy, nubby, silky, soft yarns. A lot of velvet from Diane Collins, right? The velvet hook. Lots of different materials in her pieces. Patterning, solids. You see that almost roving, unspun material. Really, really beautiful. Wilma's Seaside Vacation. This remains for me the best title for a rug hooking project ever. Lavender Whiskers. I thought so. And the blue was in the background. That makes sense. I love Wilma. Wilma is in Kirsten's, a lot of Kirsten's work is in the book that's coming out, my book that's coming out, because she was kind enough to supply me with a bunch of images that illustrated different points and different styles. Wilma is in there, of course. She is just so gorgeous. Kirsten uses so many different materials. It's like such artistry for me because each piece seems like a one of a kind, right? They're each done. Every little loop is so thoughtful, right? Is so colorful. Of course, you can repeat them, right? You can repeat them, of course. But my feeling is that when you hook in this style, right, it sets you up for success. And no matter who hooks this design afterward or any of the cats, you're going to hook it. It's going to look a little bit different, but it's going to be equally grand and glorious, right? These kinds of patterns that have this much play and wiggle room for play, they hook up so beautifully. You'll be so surprised. Another gorgeous piece. Orange whiskers for sure on this piece. I love this face. This one is called Dinner Now. Absolutely beautiful. And look at the color changing unspun material in the bottom left. Really, really striking. Love the verticals. Love the spray of whiskers on this piece. It is just a fun piece. It's so fun to not be literal, right? It's so fun to play, right? And that's, for me, fiber arts is a great playground for all kinds of experimentation with color substitutions. Frisbee Dog is my all-time favorite of Kirsten's. This is just one of the best patterns of all time. The dog does have different eye colors, which I love. I love the Frisbee, right? I love the playfulness. I love, it's like he's looking at you like, are you ready? Are you ready? You're playing with me, right? Right? I mean, just that super over eager living in hope face of a dog that is ready to play all the time. The great movement of the Frisbee and the great vertical hooking in the back. Firework whiskers, Crystal, totally. Dinner now, says Bebop. I just love these pieces. This is another great example of a hit or miss piece. The dog is not hit or miss, but the Frisbee can be hit or miss and the background can be hit or miss. What a lot of fun to experiment with hit or miss. Wait a minute. Kirsten, I didn't read your answers. Hold on. We're going to run a little bit over because Crystal is right on deck as soon as I finish this segment, which I am not rushing. Kirsten, you answered the questions, and they are great, great answers. Learning a lot about you. Your favorite movie, Pride and Prejudice, also The Matrix and Star Wars. I also love all of those movies. Not so much The Matrix, I have to say, but I do love Star Wars. Pride and Prejudice. I can see that. I can see that about you. Your favorite book, all books by Elizabeth Moon, so sci-fi fantasy author. I've never read any of her books. Is it really a female who's writing them? I know with sci-fi especially, there's like always like pen names, like maybe earlier in the 20th century, but it's always confusing for me who's who, you know. Favorite vacation, trip to Nova Scotia in 2014. Dream vacation, South Pacific Islands, Bali High, boo, boo, boo. Favorite holiday to design for Valentine's Day. Whoa, I can see that. I'm thinking of your Post-it notes. There were lots with hearts. Kirsten has a lot more designs on the Ribbon Candy Hooking site, right? You do have a lot of super graphic designs, great designs, also for beginners, right? Also for beginners. Not just really beautiful artistic boho stuff, but also great stuff for beginners. What are your other hobbies? Drawing, painting, ceramic sculpture, gardening, and cat rescue. I'm also going to be visiting with Kirsten over 4th of July weekend, so I'm hoping that we can do something live together, even if it's just a little visit, to put our faces next to each other. July is a big month. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing buddies and being together. Do you collect anything? You collect wool, attitude. Did you mean to write attitude? Collect attitude, wool, attitude. I'm trying to think. Did I screw that up? Did I screw up a joke? What's your best recipe? Oh, this is such a good one. I didn't know that you did this. I do this too. Overnight oats for breakfast or Christmas trifle. Oh, Christmas trifle is fantastic. Do you hide stuff in your trifle? Oh, fantastic. Yes, really a female author. Okay, good. What do you most want to learn how to do? Self-care. We talk about that all the time. That is a thing. It is a thing. Taking wool, attitude. I love it. I love it. I screwed up the joke. I'm sorry. I love that answer. Self-care is a tough one, isn't it? It is tough. And with you doing the cat rescue thing too, it's a lot of emotion. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of thought. It's a lot of feeling all around. Hold on. Aside from necessities, what's one thing that you couldn't last a day without? And you said your cat friends. What are you most thankful for? Your family. What are you most looking forward to? Your next hook drug. But you're loving the one you're working on, right? I'm loving the one you're working on. Great answers. Great answers. So again, make sure that you are looking out for Kirsten's work. Frisbee Dog is just, yeah, I mean, this is one of the all-time rug cooking classics. No doubt about it. Some of your other classics, right? Prince Edward Island. This is another one. We looked at this ages ago. I can never get enough of this. It is such a good piece. Talk about patterning, right? Talk about balance, talk about color. Oh, this is such a good piece. Prince Edward Island Memories, right? So be looking for Kirsten Gay's work. It is in the Ribbon Candy Hooking store, but you click on her tab, and it brings you to all of these brilliant designs. I mean, this is so tactile, so evocative, gives you such a sense of place, of temperature. It is beautiful. It is so stunning. People are going nuts, Kirsten, as they should, right? Also Moonlight. Moonlight is another one of your classics. So it's not just cats and animals, right? Although I feel like that is like you have the market on that. You do beautiful landscapes. You do beautiful abstract landscapes. They're not completely abstracted, but they are super atmospheric. Tons of atmosphere, tons of charm. Yeah, you are like Monet. You are very good at painting or coloring the air. which always sounds like a joke, right? Because it's so hard to do, it's so elusive, and seemingly impossible, yet Kirsten does it. This is painting the air with wool in this case, but absolutely beautiful body of work. Really, really stunning. I'm gonna do that. I should have been doing that all along. Now, I am coming to Crystal. Crystal, you are the inspiration for the night. I said this at the beginning because reading that article about you was super exciting. I got to know you a little bit better, and it gave me the idea for tonight. And I think this will be a series of formula that we repeat from time to time, looking at other artists' work, other rug making designers. But I want you to know that the link to this article about Crystal and Crystal's rugs, Crystal Ross, right? But it's Crystal Rugs, is in the body of this video as well, and also in our Facebook group, which is Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club. So be looking for that because you'll want to read that article. It's super inspiring. Crystal, you are another super beauty. Kirsten, I didn't put a photo of you. What is wrong with me? Kirsten, I dropped the ball on the photo. Okay, so when we get together, there's gonna be a photo of you, not of me, of you. Sorry about that. I was doing a lot of poaching from different websites because I was putting the show together, right? So, Crystal, your rugs are, and I have a lot of images. So this is going to be a different format looking at Crystal's rugs than I think it will be than we've done for the rest of the show. Crystal, you sell rugs, right? And you sell your rugs, but you seem like you sell them well. I hope that you sell them well. I hope that there are none in stock right now because you deserve to sell all of them. But you punch pieces on your Chesapeake frame. Crystal comes from like royal hooking family, like a Chesapeake family. So she's like rug hooking royalty. But your style is so unique, so different. It really is. Until you started doing it, I didn't even realize that this kind of design was possible. It's primitive and modern at the same time. Yeah, I would have asked you, Kirsten, if I was just going to use one. I was going to use the one of you in the turtleneck, to be honest. But I should always ask Kara. Love to see other designers' work. Super inspirational. So, Crystal, let's see what you got going. First, let's see what you answered for your question so we can get to know you. I know you just put your little one to bed, right? Vera is in bed. So now you are free at liberty to join in. If you want to add titles for your work as you go along, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. I got locked out of Instagram today, and that's a big platform for Crystal's work. So I was hoping to pull a bunch of images off of Instagram, and I got into one of those embittered fights with Instagram where it was like, you can't log on, then this is not your password. And it's like, oh yes it is. And then it's like you get to blows where it's like, oh, then tell us this about yourself. And it's like your first school, and you tell them and it's like, no, it wasn't. It's like, uh-oh, yes it was. So it was one of those, and I had to give up on Instagram, but I think I still got a good quality for most of the photos that we're about to see. I asked Crystal the same questions I asked everybody tonight. What is your favorite movie? Favorite movies, 1993's version of The Secret Garden. Might not hold up well to current standards, but a favorite formative childhood flick. Great sound recordings throughout, shoes clicking on old wooden floorboards, echoing halls, hands digging in dirt. Now, this is not a musical version, right? This is not like the Mandy Patinkin version of Secret Garden. This is like a straight movie. I'm going to have to look at that too because I love that book. I love that musical. Love the story. I don't think I've seen this version, in other words, so I'm going to have to check that out. Sounds super charming. Favorite book, probably not an all-time favorite, not sure what it is, but current favorite, an audiobook written and read by Jerry Saltz, S-A-L-T-Z, How to Be an Artist. I just love him. He's acidic, uplifting, and to the point. I have not listened to that audiobook. I think Linda Ann told me about that. I have got to listen to that. I'm just going to keep this piece of paper as a cue for things to look up over the weekend because these are great recommendations. Favorite vacation, a stay in any one of the rustic 1920s log cabins in Milford, Nova Scotia. That sounds dreamy. That sounds so dreamy. Dream vacation. Oh, you're so creative. A trip back in time to pre-internet experience my favorite bands in concert all over again. Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. Those were the days for me that I was hip, right? Like I went to see like Def Leppard, my first concert, I think I think it was was it REO Speedwagon with Rat? Remember the band Rat? My mother took me. She did not enjoy Rat. But yeah, I mean, I would love to go see those bands again. Power Station, Duran Duran, they're on tour again, I know. But it was different back in the day, Depeche Mode. And of course, a lot of people have since passed away, right? So that is also a thing. I'm with you on that. I think we have so much in common, Crystal, it's crazy. We would like all the same time traveling things. Favorite holiday to design for? Halloween, always and forever. I love that. What are your other hobbies? Reminiscing, paper mache, knitting, baking, gardening. You are also like a jack of all trades or Jane of all trades. You can do everything. You're like my friend Rebecca. You can do anything. I know you can. That is, oh man, that's a dream. To collect anything. I've got a very modest collection of folk art carvings and paintings that I've accumulated over the years. We add to it annually with a visit to the Lunenburg Folk Art Festival. Oh, how fun is that? You must really look forward to going and picking up another piece. Super fun. I'm going to be on for about 5 to 10 more minutes, just to let you know. What is your best recipe? Not my best recipe, but you got to try it. Perfectly ripe avocado dipped in soy sauce, a weird pregnancy. That sounds good, actually. A weird pregnancy craving that I still eat nearly every day. Basically, lazy sushi. That sounds amazing. I'm going to have to introduce that to the supper table. That reminds me of this German thing that my brother-in-law does every Easter. It's not an avocado, but he takes an egg, a hard-boiled egg, and he cuts it in half the long way. So the yolk gets cut too, and then he takes out the yolk, and into the hollow of the egg he pours oil and vinegar, really sharp vinegar, and mustard, yellow mustard, and then he puts the yolk back on it, and then you stuff it in your mouth and eat it in one bite. And it's remarkably good. It's remarkable. Sounds disgusting, and I don't like yolk, but it is remarkable. I could eat, honestly, like a dozen of them easily, with nothing stopping me other than shame, you know. Favorite holiday, hobbies, best recipe. What would you most like to learn how to do? And you answered, I've been fixated on learning how to make traditional brooms. Me too. Me too, with the colored broom. I haven't got the right type of grass that I need to make one, but I'm determined to get some. Oh, I'm so with you on that. I am absolutely crazy about colorful brooms and the way they're braided a little bit, like around the neck of them and stuff. So good. Aside from necessities, what's one thing that you couldn't last a day without? And you answered, my family, my husband and daughter. I'm an erotic creature of habit, and they are my home. What are you most thankful for? My daughter in all of her infuriatingly spirited glory. Exactly. Gotta have some sass and fire, right? Especially if you're a little girl, you gotta get some sass going. What are you most looking forward to tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that? And also, I won't read your funny answer, but just not being stressed and having a lot of balls in the air. I know that feeling so well. So let me show you what Crystal's work. She didn't enjoy Rat at all. My mom took me to see Rat. Oh man, that was, yeah. Wow, she's a good mom. I'll tell you what, she's a good mom. So let's flip through some of Crystal's work. It's so stylized, right? It's primitive and it's modern. It's 50-50. In my mind, it's 50-50. That's what makes it so extraordinary. This is punched work. I also love the artsy way that you do your photos, Crystal. You're so gorgeous. You're so gorgeous, and you have such style. Rugs and your clothes, and just you're gorgeous. But I just love the very stylized look that is a great hat tip to primitive style, to folk art style, but it reads as modern, doesn't it? Very modern. Contemporary, but it's sweet, right? It's graphic, but it's feminine. It's a lot of contrast. You're sitting on a lot of contrasts. It's the tension of a contrast makes art and life interesting as well, because these are not particularly feminine designs, but you are not using particularly feminine colors either. You go a lot for your primaries, but they still strike me as being soft, right? They could also go in a room with like a man, obviously, right? I'm not being sexist, but a man would certainly enjoy having these rugs on the floor, on the walls. They are really contemporary. in the best possible way, but they do have that very Scandinavian, right? Because they're very style driven, absence of lines. There's not a lot of superfluous lines at all, right? It's almost like Impressionism, right? You remove, but completely different style because it's graphic. You remove all the superfluous lines, and it's boiling something in a little crucible. You boil it down, and you've got the purest, simplest, clearest version of the story that you're trying to tell. A lot of symmetry with your rugs, a lot of symmetry, very shape-driven geometry. I love how you've got such great balance between many of your animal rugs. There's kind of like a shooting star flower above. You've got the flying geese pattern on the sides. It's an old quilt pattern. Really beautiful colors, lots of neutrals. And when you get away from neutrals and primaries, you introduce very soft colors, right? This is your own yarn that you dye. It's very unique. Lots of light backgrounds, right? I'm thinking of things as we go along here that I love the simplicity too, Kirsten. Lots of light backgrounds. I think that is one of your signature things. It's so hard. It's so hard to articulate what your style is, because you're such a crossover cat. You straddle a lot of sort of demarcation lines within art, and the best I can do is just keep regurgitating the phrase. It's very primitive. It's very modern. It's very hard to put those two things together. Right? I can see why your rugs are desirable. As one-of-a-kind rugs. This is about quality because of the thing with Instagram, right? I was trying to pull some that are on Crystal's Instagram platform, but I was struggling with being locked out. I love this piece. I love this piece because it is symmetrical, but it's like it almost looks like half the mat, right? If you had this in front of the door, it's almost like it's folded. It's so cool. It could be a boxy rainbow. It's just such a cool design. I would definitely, not that I would want to use your rugs because I would want to get them dirty. I would not ever get them dirty. But if your rugs were on my floor, I would so enjoy seeing this one, like up against the threshold to a door, something like that. I don't know. I just really love it. It looks like a gateway. It looks like you're entering a gateway. It's so colorful. It's like a celebration. Every time you go into the bedroom or something, like, woohoo, you look down and it's like a celebration down on, I was going to say down there, to be careful with these kinds of conversations. I kept this one for myself. It's uplifting to have around. Lots of light backgrounds for sure. Crystal, the one you kept for yourself, is that the one that I was just saying with the kind of rainbow border, the celebratory kind of welcomey feel to it? I'm just curious because I'd like to know what your taste is too. Another beautiful rug, a smaller one, beautiful simple flower pot. Love the way I love the way that you did the thick stems. I love the way that you did the shape of the lamb's tongues rather than lamb's tongues touching, right? We see that a lot. It's great every time, but this is something completely different. More of a postage stamp feel. The rainbow arch. Oh, I love it. I'm glad that you kept that. That just has real feel about it. These, I think, are some of your smaller ones. Really, really, really lovely. Really love you. I love, the Freudian slip, I do love you. I love your light backgrounds. I think that really is a signature thing. Somehow, no matter what flower you're doing or what animal you're doing, you are able to abstract it in a way that is soft and puffy, but not corny or cute. Do you know what I mean? You're right there on that line again. There is, it's hard. It's hard to describe your work. This one is quite different, right? This has that Magdalena feel, the shapy dog, but he actually is situated on a floor, on a shadowy rug or the shape of a rug. This has very simple perspective, right? He's like the box perspective with the floorboards, simplified, simple beauty, right? Super, super joyful, beautiful corally pink, a little bit of a spicy color, beautiful spicy mustard color, and then all neutrals, right? Simplicity of color, simplicity of line, but your shapes are so dead on that every composition is really successful. Another incredible beauty. And this is more of a feminine palette, but it doesn't read as a girly rug. None of your stuff does. This is so gorgeous. This is so gorgeous. I love your device of often I love your symmetry, but I love your device of often when you're doing something that functions as a border, doing it on 2 sides rather than on 4 sides. I think that keeps things lively. I think it keeps it really interesting. Really, oh, this is a funny one. Go away. I love the shape of the cat, right? What a lump. What a lump. And also on a little rug, like the dog wasn't the last one. More of the sentiment of a cat here, go away. That kind of says it all. That's what the cat would write with his little paw in the diary every night if he could, right? Just go away. Make sure my food dish is down. This one broke my heart. I had to say to her, did you sell this one? Because this is like, I was like having trouble breathing, right? It was like, it was a bit of a Darth Vader moment when I saw this. And this one sold. This one sold. I was asleep at the wheel. I deserve it. Had I but seen this, I would have emptied my bank account quite happily. This is like, God, I love this so much. Dusty Rose, right? And the cats that look almost like Staffordshire cats. I have a painting of Staffordshire. I have like some little Staffordshire stuff around, trinkets. Oh my God, I just love this. And I love the brown with the pink. It's so unexpected because you only ever go to 2 or 3 colors. The bird had more colors than you usually use. You are using a bit of shadowing with this, right? And what I love about these cats, they do look like the statuary, like the Staffordshire cats. They have, their bodies look like globes, right? They have like these, like, of color, just like a globe, like little continents of color. And their little faces. Look at their faces are slightly different. They both seem to be aloofly looking away with a lot of disdain, but their lips are slightly different. Like they have slightly different sneers, you know. Absolutely so cute that it's insane. Now, this is what the article looks like because I want to be sure that you remember to pull it up right after the show. The article, the link to the article is in the body of this video, and it's also in our Facebook group. So look for Crystal Ross. This is the article. So the article, if you're looking online, is called Spotlight Crystal Ross, Textile Artist, Create Whimsy. CreateWhimsy.com. So you could search for any of these words and you can find it if you don't want to follow the link. And the article will look like this when you pull it up, right? And then it's a quite long article and it's a super interesting article. I love the way how you talk when you talk about going from baking into rug making and the whole COVID time and how that was such a shakeup and everything. Very interesting article, really well done article. Lots of fun, lots of fun. I'm sorry to run over again. It was a great night tonight. I really enjoyed tonight because I loved looking at the work of other people. I always do. I love our gallery nights too. But you know, tonight we were looking at, if you joined us late, we're looking at the work of other rug hooking brands. I'm Ribbon Candy Hooking. We looked at a bunch of other brands tonight, and they are all listed in the body of this video in the description. And if you watch the video back, if you came and joined us late, a bunch of different other rug hooking artists who I really regard as like the toppermost, poppermost. Really, really, really good design. Really great brands, right? And I know that we are really seeing a renaissance in rug making. And we can thank each other for that. All of us can thank each other for that. But there is definitely a future out there, I think, in rug making, whatever your technique is. So it's nice that it is more than nice that there are so many brands out there that are quality, that are fun, that make you feel, that make you think, that make you see, that make you want to pick up something and work on a project, right? It's just a lot of fun. April says, so interesting, thank you. Oh, you are so welcome. I always love to promote other brands, particularly people who I care a lot about. Because there's a lot of, as with any industry, there's a lot of instances of seeing the not caring. But everybody who I featured tonight, I have such a good feeling about, and I feel like is a personal friend. And I'm always very, very, very happy to use this platform when we get together to talk about how great other people are. Colleen, wonderful show. Oh, sure thing, Colleen. Thanks for having your work in the show. It was absolutely beautiful. Kirsten, thanks for having your work in the show. Kelly, Rebecca, all of my friends, Joe, who are in the show. Thank you so much for having your work featured here. Naomi, all beautiful work. Avocado with balsamic vinegar, also good. Great tip. And now I am really hungry, and all I've got is Taki peanuts. That's not going to hit this spot. Barbara, thank you. Great to see you all tonight. I'm glad that you are all here. Remember, there's a bunch of things going on. Don't forget, if you're local to me, don't forget to sign up for the hooking with quilt fabric, with the Cafe Facet fabric. Hooking with quilt fabric at Madison Wool. I gave the date earlier in July, right? Look at the Madison, Connecticut website. I will be there teaching hooking with quilt fabric and Prodi, right? Square Peg is the name of the piece. I teach at Madison just about every month, right? Every month a different project. So this one's coming up. The next class is the multi strand braiding again. I think that might be sold out. But in the middle there is the book signing, same place, Madison Wool. I'm also going to be teaching at Plymouth. Um, oh gosh, come on, Plymouth. It's the Plymouth Yarn Store, Plymouth, Mass. I'll come back to you with that. I think I'm doing this project live in Plymouth, Mass. I think it's Split Bloom Garden. So lots of live dates coming up too. Make sure you check my website too. Check everybody else that we talked about tonight. But if you're looking for classes, remember I have a lot of classes coming up. Online Zoom classes. Would love to spend some time with you, creating, doing some stuff, having some fun. I will see you on Monday. I'm not sure what our content is, but it will be wonderful. I will look forward to seeing you on Monday for coffee time, and that will be at our summertime, all summer, which will be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, an hour earlier than usual, just so I can get some time in to do something with the kids without the day being split, like literally in half. So I will see you for coffee time at 11 a.m. Monday. And again, don't know what we're doing, but we're going to do it. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you need me, write me at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. Loved seeing you tonight, and I will see you soon. Thumbs up, like, subscribe. Huge shout out and huge thanks to Patreon supporters for supporting this channel, for supporting me with this brand and all of this content that we put out there that is not behind paywalls, that is just there for people to see, enjoy, learn, right? We all take off running, filled with inspiration.